What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy, Tim, the handsome liberal. Today is the day. There are undoubtedly a hell of a lot of very excited voters because today we're going to be dealing with probably one of, if not the most watched presidential debates in American history. There is no denying that the viewership, the ratings for tonight's debate are probably going to be through the roof. Probably going to be the most watched program on CNN in a very, very long time. So, with this debate coming up, we're gonna try to have a little fun with this because we will be doing a show after the debates as well. But what I want to ask you folks is, what question or a series of questions, what questions are you hoping is asked to your opposition? For instance, if you're voting for Biden, what questions do you hope are posed to Trump? And vice versa, if you are supporting Trump, if you are MAGA, what questions would you like to have posed to President Biden? We're going to do that today. As always, you know your boy likes to play devil's advocate. I'll try to present some answers to these. I want to get your opinion on them and see what you guys think. Also, perhaps we can flip the roles around as well, and you can be the candidate. We'll throw some questions to you and see how you answer them. Now, we're talking about it from a standpoint of J-Mac. Yeah! Thank you for the ad mustache. Appreciate the support. Also, we're going to tackle it from a standpoint of your desired candidate. So if you support Trump, throw some questions at you that are likely to come Trump's way. I want to hear your answers on it as well. So it should be a fairly interesting program. Obviously, we're going to follow this up tonight after the debate, see what questions were asked. And of course, the number one question on everybody's mind, whether you're left, right, or even center, is Biden's cognitive abilities going to measure up? Shout out to President Trump. Whether he was wrong or right, he has drawn everyone's attention to Biden's cognitive abilities. Now, if Biden comes out there looking dignified and professional, that may not work in Trump's favor. However, as we stand right now, thanks to President Trump and many of my beloved MAGA out here, many Trump supporters, everyone is going to be focused primarily on Biden's cognitive abilities, meaning that the moment Biden appears on camera, people are not judging what's coming out of his mouth or what he says. They're judging him on, can he walk? Can he stand straight? And then once he starts speaking, the type of speech he's delivering. With President Trump, or better yet, President Biden, unlike Trump, the focus is not necessarily just on what Biden says. On Trump, yeah, whatever he says, take it or leave it. Do you believe it? Do you not? Is it a good answer? Is it a bad answer? But you're mainly focusing on the words coming out of his mouth. With Biden, you're focused on whether he can produce words at all. So Biden has a lower bar to cross than President Trump. But we will see. Nevertheless, we're going to, you know how the program is ran on this historic day. We are MAGA friendly. Always have been, always will be. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Liberals are welcome on the program as well. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. We cover the entire political spectrum. So looking in the comments, keep convincing yourself Biden's doing a good job. And that came from Jeff. Well, Jeff, I would respond by simply saying this. Whether a president is doing a good job or not often is judged by how you're doing in life, what you believe is the best direction for this country. If you believe in same-sex marriage, for instance, do you get rid of Biden and put in Trump? I mean, there are ways to judge whether Biden is doing a good job or not. Depends on what you favor, what you believe is important. Anyhow, moving on with the program, you look like a skinny Badlands Chugs. I don't know what that means, Michael. I appreciate the input. I don't know if you're trying to deliver an insult, a compliment, but the grammar kind of, I don't know what that is. Remember his State of the Union speech. Biden was pretty animated. Yeah, he was fairly cognizant. Biden didn't come across as not being able to string together a sentence during the State of the Union address at all. However, MAGA explained that away by stating that Biden was on drugs or had a host of Mountain Dews before the speech. So we'll see what happens. Make America affordable again, says, I don't know, when has America really ever been affordable, Ninja? Even during the Trump administration, when many would suggest the economy was much better, it wasn't like Americans were bragging about how wealthy they were doing. I mean, people still work 2 jobs. I don't remember, certainly in any community that I may have affiliated with, I don't remember people from 2017 to 2021 bragging about how easy life was and how they could afford anything they wanted. Money was not an object. I don't recall that. I would say it may have gotten worse as of late due to the rise of inflation. Some could blame on Biden. But under Trump years, it wasn't like everything, money was no object. Everybody could afford anything. I think you may be overstating that again or a bit. And someone says, make America felons again. Yikes. Going straight to the box, rather. Stick the ruler. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Stick. By the way, folks, tap the screen. 400 plus of you in here. Get your boy up to 10,000 likes. Smash that like button on YouTube. Stick, good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing, Hanson? What's going on?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on here. You watching the debate tonight?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be watching the debate. I'm not going to be watching it for the reasons that MAGA's watching, to see somebody's how they move, if their motor skills are all right. I want to hear what he has to say and what he tends to do to fix this stuff even more. And I'm talking about Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Trump. He's going to give us. I think the government's against me. Hillary should have went to jail.
So you believe
it's weird.
You believe Trump is going to pull out the Trump's greatest hit CD?
Well, I think exactly, his greatest hits. You damn right. No, my brother, you got to get your own. Yeah, he's gonna do that. He's gonna come out with his own big CD, and he's gonna ram it. So because MAGA's gonna be watching.
Yeah.
In his mind, he's gonna think that they're cheering him on. That's his go-to thing, is to get his base riled up. And it's just sad that his base is not the people that's gonna get him in there.
So let me ask you this question. I'm assuming you're leaning towards Biden, correct?
Yeah, I feel Biden is taking it seriously. Biden is doing what all the greats do. Mike Tyson, you train. When Mike Tyson stopped training, he got knocked out by Buster Douglas.
Yeah, I was watching that fight.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so I think it's real. I think it needs to be taken seriously. I think Trump needs to stop that. I'll just wing it. That's his style, but it's trash. But it's only good to the people who actually believe in what he.
So how do you respond to how would you respond if Trump basically said, ask any American, are you better off now than you were during my term 4 years ago?
Well, I'll say what he said the same thing at the Libertarian convention. Did you see what happened to him there?
I know he got booed.
He got booed, and then when their actual speaker came up, the person that they're backing, their candidate or whatever you want to call it, he said, "You have never been a libertarian, and we know who you are, and we're not you, and you're not us." So at the end of the day, that's majority of America saying this.
So
not only are the Democrats saying it, the Libertarians are saying this.
Yeah, but does that apply? But doesn't that apply to Biden as well? Biden is not us either. I mean, he's a millionaire.
Well, Biden. Well, hold on. First of all, it's a difference between being a millionaire and a person that cares and being a millionaire.
Oh,
Tony Stark was a millionaire that just was not a philanthropist. But then after some certain things happened, he changed, right? And he ended up wanting to save the world. as that story goes. So you got people that change, because I already know it's going to come up. Joe Biden was a racist and blah, 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 and this, that, and the third.
Now, that's not going to come. I get your point. It may come up on this show, but that's not going to come up in the debate.
No, I don't think it's going to come up in the debate. But what I'm saying is, when you talk to MAGA, that tends to always rear its ugly head. And it may have been true at one point. The difference between Joe and Trump is Trump has never asked for forgiveness, meaning Trump is not going to change. So if he was a bigot and a racist, he's a bigot and a racist right now. Versus Joe Biden.
But let me ask it to you that way. In regards to you suggesting it may come up that Biden is a racist, being an African American yourself, do you believe the African American community see Biden as racist, Trump as racist, both of them, maybe neither one of them? Do you see any difference in maybe how the African American and the minority community view these men?
Well, I see it as a big difference because, just being honest, I had something when you were on the on your show over the weekend. I had a clip I wanted to play. Trump has all these, well, not all, but he has like one or two rappers out here making songs and putting "Make America Great Again" hats on and all of this other stuff. But none of these rappers are known. None of these rappers are known. They're all just they're just guys trying to get their their fame on, and I believe that they're using Trump for that just to get out there.
You don't think
you have somebody like
you don't think Jay-Z would put out you don't think Jay-Z would go MAGA put a single out?
Negative, because he's worth more than Trump. Negative. So at the end of the day, we have a mainstream rapper by the name of Fabulous.
Yes.
And one of his songs is "Just One Thing." And he says, again, it's still F Donald Trump. You should have pardoned Big Meech.
I'm a big Fabulous fan. I have not heard that. I go back with Fabulous for a few decades, but I never heard that one.
Yeah. It's called "One Thing Freestyle." Listen to it. About a minute in, he says, "It's still F Donald Trump. You should have pardoned Meech."
Okay, I'll look it up. I don't know if Meech would even be wanting to be affiliated with Trump, though. I don't know about that one.
And that's big to say, because we're talking about a big time, well-known narcotics pusher don't want to be affiliated with Trump. Think about that.
Now, but hold on, though. You're talking about none of these rappers are known. Leo in the comments says there are famous rappers backing Trump. Somebody in the comments, because I don't know any either, state who are you suggesting that is openly backing Trump? I know he is. Might be Lil Wayne. I don't think he did, though. But I'd like to know.
But listen. That's not what I'm talking about. I didn't say anything about supporting. I said making songs.
Oh.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene got a song, she's whatever.
Does she really?
They got a Donald Trump song. Yeah. She's got a song. She's on a rap song. She's in the video. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So again, you got these people that we don't know who they are making these songs, making it look like there's a lot of black folks voting for them, and it's not. It's just not true. You do have the exceptions, but that's not the rule. The rule is we don't like him. Just be honest.
But it's not just rappers. I mean, the polls say that African Americans are leaning towards Trump more than previous Republican candidates too. It's not just the musical rappers. The polls say it too.
What polls? I ain't got no call. When did they call you?
I don't. Well, I get your point about not receiving a call, but I think just about every poll in existence shows Trump is doing fairly well with African Americans compared to Romney, McCain, or previous Republican candidates.
I'll tell you exactly what Donald Trump told you. He's doing fairly well with the felons that can't vote. They can't vote.
I don't know.
They're like, yeah, he's like me now, but they can't vote. You do have some of those people that have a little bit of money. African American folks, they got a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that we don't have any money at all.
Right.
We got folks that have money.
Okay.
But those folks aren't attached to him because of their skin. They're attached to him because they like the I want to keep money in my pocket policies that he has for the people who make more than $400,000 a year.
Okay. But let's just be clear. Where we going off on the deep end about African Americans and rappers, we are a very small voting bloc. You can easily win an election with very little African American votes. So I don't know how big of a deal this is at the end of the day anyway.
Well, actually, that's not true either, Handsome. It's actually you can do that when there's no African Americans around. Iowa, like Idaho, those places that we tend not to.
I'm talking about in the presidential. No, hold on. I'm talking about in the presidential election. If you get 1 out of 4 blacks, you can win the election. You don't need to get anywhere near half the black vote as president to win.
You said 1 out of 4. What about the person that's getting the 4 out of 5?
I'm just telling you, if you can win a presidential election, 25%, or in fact, less than that. George W. Bush never came anywhere near 25% of the black vote, and he won 2 elections.
Check. I get what you're saying, but this is the point that we're making now. It's more black voters than they're actually telling you. That's number one.
Okay.
Then on top of that, they're gerrymandering and the districts and how you vote in certain states and districts. So at the end of the day, what I'm basically saying is wherever the most black folks are at, they're 9 times out of 10, 4 out of 5 is voting for Biden, and 1 out of 5 is voting for Trump. So, like you said, you don't have to get all the black votes, but when you do get all the black votes, you're going to win. Just being honest, you're going to win.
Well, I don't know, because I think that most of the Democratic candidates do normally get all the black votes. I mean, and some Republicans still win. You're going to get, as a Democrat, 75 to 80% of the black vote is almost guaranteed throughout our lifetime. It's almost guaranteed, yet Republicans have been winning.
I'm going to tell you when Trump got their vote, when he went against Hillary, he got the black vote then. And those votes were still a toss-up, but they just didn't want to vote for Hillary. So now those same folks that see that he ain't the man, and we don't have Hillary, we have Biden, they voted for Biden. Biden won. This time, he's got more people voting for Biden. Yeah, they're upset with him. Yeah, he went to a black college and they turned their back. But at the end of the day, they ain't finna vote for Trump. That's just what it is.
All right.
We just got to be honest about it.
So you believe? So before I move it on, you believe the polls on the African American vote are completely wrong?
I really do, because I believe if Trump would have went to that African American college, he would have got booed. He would have got tomatoes, thrown at him. Like, yeah, get up out of here.
All right.
Boo.
I don't know if I totally agree with you, but I got him. I'll tell you, Trump has shown up in some African American areas, and that did not happen. So I don't know, but I got to move it on, Stick.
Well, how about this? 250 million versus 7 billion. Which one's better?
What do those numbers dictate?
Yeah. Those numbers dictate what Joe Biden gave, the 7 billion to
HBCUs
versus Trump giving 250 million, which equates to being about $87 each student.
All right. I'll respond to that on the other side, but Stick, I gotta go. Appreciate you coming on.
All right.
Hey, anytime.
Right,
now, real quick, his question: which one is better, 250 million or some odd billion, in terms of donating to HBCUs? My honest opinion, maybe some of you folks will disagree. I don't block, ban, or censor, but my honest opinion is the answer is the messaging. The messaging is better. I think that Trump has made it abundantly clear that he did something for the HBCUs and Biden has not. So even though Biden may have given a significant amount more, most people may not know about that. Whereas you got folks who have absolutely nothing to do with HBCUs, but they're giving Trump credit for allocating some money to HBCUs. So I agree the finances sound way better on Biden's side. But if you don't know about it, I don't know how valuable that is. Looking in the comments, though, Trump gave his presidential check away when he was in office. He didn't need it. That's disingenuous. I'll go back to the box. But the idea that Trump became president, did not take a salary, and that shows you how patriotic he is. I'll just bring up the fact that they threw the emoluments clause at Trump because he had so many folks, dignitaries coming to the country, staying at his hotels, playing on his golf courses, and they were charging those folks a premium. They had to tell him, as president, you can't be using this position to promote your businesses. I mean, so he was making money. The president of the U.S., that salary is only $400,000 or $500,000 a year for president of the United States. When you get wealthy folks staying at your places like that, one visit might be $100,000. So the idea that Trump didn't make any money while president, I personally believe is disingenuous. Not to mention the fact that his daughter received 26 Chinese patents. His son-in-law automatically somehow mysteriously got a $2 billion investment deal from the Saudis. Money was made. Whether you agree with it or not, money was made. I mean, I think Melania Trump's family suddenly all got, immigration issues approved. He benefited from it. So, and I'm not saying that Biden is not benefiting from it either. But the idea that Trump, just gave everything away and just really wanted to help America at no cost, I don't think that's accurate. Going back to the box, I mean, he still had a business. The problem is he promised, very similar to Arnold Schwarzenegger, that if he got elected, he would not be involved in business. Arnold Schwarzenegger got elected governor of California. He didn't do any movies. Wasn't taking interviews of any significance. I mean, he got out of the business. Trump did not. As you're pointing out, he still had a business. Not only do you have a business, but now the people you're meeting as president are patronizing your businesses. That to me is a conflict of interest. He was making money. Looking in the comments, or better yet, going back to the box, we will continue the program on with Miss Mo Better, one of my subscribers. We always give first digs to them. Miss Mo Better, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good to have you back.
How's everything?
Doing good.
Are you excited for tonight or what?
Hell yeah! This is like the Super Bowl of politics.
Absolutely is.
So what do you think? Do you think Biden's going to come out there looking like he's lost?
No, Biden's going to come out just like he did at his last speech and surprise all of them. See, let me tell you, Tim, you see Trump flags and posters and all kind of memorabilia. You know why that is? Because he has nothing else to speak about. So he has to have it so where people can see it. You see, if that was the case, if he was doing that much great, Biden's numbers wouldn't be as close to Trump's as they are.
I don't know if
a bunch of Biden memorabilia all over the place. You don't see all of that.
No, and that says something about Biden. Is that as bad as you're painting Trump, there are millions of people that love him. You're talking about Biden. Hold on. You're talking about Biden may be better while admitting there's no Biden bumper stickers or flags anywhere. Why is that?
Because he's still getting the job done without all of that stuff being available.
But why isn't it available? Why isn't there love for Biden?
There is. And that's just why he won. They're not going to those polls. When it comes to people getting in those voting booths, that's why Trump lost. Yeah, we're going to support you out on the open. Yeah, we're going to carry your flags and everything. But when they get inside of that booth, because half of them that are supporting him needs the Obamacare, they need everything that Biden is supporting.
Let me ask you to you this way, because you're saying there's love for Biden, and you'll see when they get in that booth. Are they going in the booth out of love for Biden to vote for Biden, or are they going in the booth believing that Trump is the wrong guy for this country, willing to check any box that's not Trump? Are they actually voting for Biden, or are they voting against Trump?
No, I strongly believe they're voting against Trump. People don't like him. You do have people that love this man. They love Trump. but not enough of them to have him win a second term. If that was the case, we would not be having this conversation right now. He would have still been in the office. But he dropped the ball on such significant things like the pandemic. So, because even people that supported him lost family members and stuff to the pandemic.
But they don't blame him for that. But people who love Trump believe that he did the best he could with a unique situation. They don't fault Trump for losing relatives during the pandemic.
Well, that sucks for them.
You're talking about people died, Ms. Mo Better. That's harsh.
I told you before, I lost 5 people in my family alone due to the pandemic. That right there supersedes any paycheck.
Yeah.
That supersedes any paycheck on any day. I don't care who the president was. Because if Biden was in control of it, that had the control that Trump did when this happened, I would have blamed him too.
So you fault.
You had it in your hand. He had what to do in his hand, but he started out first. Anything that Obama did, he wanted to erase because his hatred for the man. He doesn't like Obama at all. He doesn't, and he's displayed that.
Well, maybe he doesn't like Obama because Obama's a liberal, or maybe Trump viewed him as far left and thought he had a bad direction for the country. Why do you think he hates Obama so much?
Because he's still pouting for that time they were doing that speech, that DNC or whatever they were doing.
You're talking about the correspondence dinner.
The correspondence dinner, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when Obama put the picture up of said he was born in a different country, Trump was embarrassed. Everybody in the room was laughing but him.
Yeah, I think Chris Christie said something similar. He was sitting at the table with Trump, and he said the same thing, that correspondence dinner really hurt Trump's feelings. But wait a minute, though. You're talking about one little comedy special. MAGA is the one that's known for the phrase, fuck your feelings and don't get emotional. You're telling me Trump is in his feelings?
That's the hypocrisy of MAGA. That's why a lot of people don't rock with MAGA. It's okay when he does things, but when somebody else does the same thing as him, they downplay his and highlight somebody else's. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, Tim, though. You can't deny that. We see it all the time.
Yeah, now, I see some of that.
And like we were, like, as far as with MAGA, I now call most or all Republicans MAGA. And the reason I do so is because if you're not MAGA, if you're strong into the Republican side, why wouldn't y'all pick another a candidate? Why wouldn't they vote for another candidate? So y'all could knock out, oh, well, we're not MAGA. We don't want Trump. Yes, you did. You wanted him because if you didn't, he wouldn't be there.
Well, I want to ask you this. This is coming from Jim on YouTube, and this in all caps says, if shit hits the fan in the last 4 years, what do you think it'll be like in another 4? In other words, after seeing what has happened with the economy under President Biden, why do you feel confident that he should be given another 4 years?
Well, when Biden took office, once he started going into office, everything was already on a down spiral. It was already spiraling from the pandemic. So now, when the pandemic hit, everything shut down. It caused companies and all kind of things to go under. You had people price gouging. They used the pandemic as it was an excuse. Nobody was outside, so nobody was outside or could do anything. So what happens is the next 4 years that come, now you're going to have to play catch up. Just like when Obama took in Bush, left him in a messed up situation to where he had to go around fixing things before he can actually implement anything that he had into play. Okay. Now, we know once Obama got in there, Congress was shutting down almost everything that he wanted to put forward. I didn't like all of his policies either. I didn't like all of his policies either. However, it took 8 years for him to get into office. And when Trump took over, Trump just had to go in there, mind all of the stuff that you have in here and play already. Mind this is how you do X, Y, Z. You know what his agenda was? Oh, Obama did it. Oh, let's cancel that.
Okay, I gotta, with all due respect, Ms. Mo, but I gotta push back. I don't mind. You can answer it any way you want, because you're saying that when Biden took office, everything was already on the down spiral. Am I correct? Is that what I heard?
That's when it started. Yes,
okay, absolutely. You're saying it started that way. However, many are going to push back and say it wasn't until Biden took office that chaos became insane at the border. Global affairs started getting out of hand. Wars started breaking out every damn where. And we even lost the way we define what a woman is. All under Biden's administration. What say you?
All of that shit was already in the makings. And January 6th was just the icing on the cake. Trump had all of this stuff working already. All of it, not just Trump, but people under Trump and in his cabinet. And he kept saying, so he knew he was going to lose the election. He already knew it. He had it in his head already. So now he got his people thinking, all right, well, we're going to go down here and fight like hell.
Yeah, I don't know. You say
Biden dropped the ball on the border. He totally messed up on that situation. I wholeheartedly stand on that. It was things he should have did earlier on. That he's doing now. He should have did it earlier on. Again, we're never going to get 100% from either side.
But you're saying that before I'm moving on, you're agreeing that Biden dropped the ball on the border. We got a 12-year-old girl being murdered by two Venezuelans after they sexually assaulted her, coming in illegally or undocumented during the Biden administration. Is he not to blame on that at all if you say he indeed dropped the ball on the border?
You know how long that's been going on about people being unalive.
That's not an excuse, though.
I'm not excusing any of that. I'm not excusing that. No, again, I don't know what our country have to do to get those people on the other side of the border to shut it down. Like, listen, if people got to your country, you got to take care of that until we can get things in order here.
I don't know how you can blame Trump for COVID, but not blame border deaths on Biden. Cue me in on this.
No. Right. I don't. I'm sorry.
That's because that's going to come up at the debate. I got to move it on, though, Miss Mobetta.
I'm sure it probably will.
Oh, it absolutely will. It absolutely will.
I can't wait to see what happens when they have no audience. That's the biggest part that I want to say, because Trump runs on an audience.
Yeah.
He needs that to fuel him. They claim Biden is so sleepy. If he's so sleepy, why his numbers so high? Just help me understand.
But because of what I told you, it's more of a dislike for Trump as opposed to a love for Biden. Real quick, last question. Gabriel Reed, thank you for the super chat on YouTube, says she needs to lay off the brandy this early. The floor is yours.
I don't drink brandy. I like tequila, baby.
Ooh.
Get it right.
Ooh.
Now lay off Trump's nuts. How about that?
Oh my God! All right, girl, Miss Mobetta, appreciate you coming through. All right, lay off his. Oh my God, lay off his nutsack. Yikes! All right, look it in the comments though. That was a good comeback. Tap the screen. Get the likes up to about 20,000. We can certainly make that happen with over 800 of you folks here on the main page. Numbers are back in play. So certainly tap the screen, get the likes up to about 25,000. Same on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. Appreciate you folks. You can be anywhere you want to be, but with a debate going on tonight, your ass damn sure better be here. This is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Trump did the best they could during COVID, but that doesn't mean he earns my vote. His rhetoric and lack of leadership is what makes it hard for me to support him, says Edward. That's an interesting comment. You're saying that it's difficult to vote for Trump because of his rhetoric and lack of leadership, but you're actually giving him credit for doing the best he could during the pandemic. Normally people who don't vote for Trump do not believe he did a good job during the pandemic. So that's interesting. I don't normally hear it that way. Nevertheless, we will continue the program on with the one and only Country Hound Dog. Good afternoon, Country Hound Dog. He makes no sense when he talks. Are you suggesting me or one of the presidential candidates? Country Hound Dog, good afternoon.
How's it going, Tim? Wow, Miss Mobetta was on a tear today, wasn't she?
Well, a lot of Americans feel that way. There's a lot of love for Trump, a lot of hate for the man. I don't think either exists for Biden. I don't think there's a lot of people who hate Biden. They probably dislike maybe what they view as a far left agenda. But I think when it comes to Trump, it's actual love or hate for the man. It's not the policies, it's the man.
I'm kind of questioning at this point whether it's love or hate for whoever is president versus whether it's love or hate for the country you live in.
Explain.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, and I can't tell you how many, and for the most part, it's Democrats that I meet that they want open borders, they want open policies and all that, let everybody come in. But yet when you ask them, hey, can these undocumented aliens come stay at your house? They instantly scream no.
Yep.
So, people want to call, Trump and all them hypocrites and MAGA hypocrites, but yet this is the hypocritical left speaking on that. I'll say it. We need to put America first. Quit bickering amongst ourselves. Put America first. And I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
See what your thoughts are. Because you mentioned the 12-year-old. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, should her parents be allowed to sue Joe Biden? Because Joe Biden did sue Texas to force them to remove border protection, okay, in order to allow more illegals to come in. Now, had Texas been allowed to go ahead and secure the border, would that 12-year-old be alive today or not? I don't know. I can't answer.
Yeah.
But because Biden forced Texas to reduce border control, for lack of a better word, should her parents be allowed to sue Joe Biden?
I think if we allow a citizen to sue the president because of some policy they made that may have been good or bad, that we may have agreed or disagreed with, it would open up Pandora's box. I mean, that would be like asking, should Herman Cain be able to sue the Trump administration for throwing a gathering that his own advisor told him not to do in regards to Dr. Fauci? So you would open up a Pandora's box to all kinds of mess. Should Cindy Sheehan be able to sue George W. Bush for losing her son in the Iraq War? I don't think you'd want to go down that path. I get your point, but it could come back to backfire all over the damn place.
And that's a very fair point. But I wanted to throw that out there because I want people to realize, I want people to stop and think. Quit voting parties. Because me and you both know if they wanted to resolve all the issues, no matter what the issue is, LGBTQIA alphabet, whether it's women's rights, whether it's border crossings, it don't matter. If they want to resolve the issues in Washington, they will do so. But if they do so, none of them have nothing to run on. Yeah. And here's something to think about. And when people go out and they talk about polls, okay, there is no poll that is taken that is not skewed one way or the other.
I don't disagree with that.
I see a lot of polls that are taken lately, and it shows Trump winning pretty well across the board. However, go into somewhere like New York and look at the polls, and it's going to be the other way around.
Yeah.
So
the point you're making is you can't trust the polls.
I would say don't trust the polls because polls are skewed.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of views. When people listen tonight to this debate, no matter which person says what, go do your own homework.
Well, that's problematic, Country Hound Dog, because you mentioned going along party lines. Most people actually absorb media that also agrees with their political affiliation. So, for instance, if you lean left, you're going to probably watch MSNBC. You may be reading liberal publications. So when you do your homework, you're probably going to go to liberal sources to do it. Just like there's places out there like PragerU or the Epic Times. All that stuff leans right.
Thank you for the hand heart, whoever said that. It didn't say your name. You're right. So if you lean left and you generally watch a left-leaning news source, go to the other side. See what they got to say. Go out of your element, but do the research. And I think, I will continue to say, I like TikTok for the fact that it's letting all of us come together and talk about the issues and get it out in the open.
Same.
I mean, heck, Tim, I've told you before, if you ran for president, I'd vote for you.
Well, you don't know what's in my past yet, but I appreciate that. I mean, because hell, I might be born in Kenya. I remember being born in Chicago, but if I ran for president, somebody might tell you I was born in Kenya or Ghana. I don't know.
Are you a Cubs fan? Are you a Cubs fan?
Yes.
Yeah, so am I. You got my vote. You're a Cubs
fan.
All right. But anyway, when it comes to policies, and she touched on Trump with the pandemic, he did try to do his best and he only had a short time to handle it. And then, unfortunately, things did go wrong. But then when Biden came in, things continued to go wrong, and nothing got. And it just, by the time it was all over, said and done with, both sides of the government had handled it incorrectly.
Well, I gotta push back, Hound Dog. I gotta say, under Biden, the message, whether you agree or disagree with it, was unified. Maybe folks thought the masks were ridiculous or shutting down schools were bad for children, whatever the case may be. But under Biden, the message from his administration was a unified message. Under Trump, you got Trump saying do this, you got Fauci saying do that. I mean, his administration was sending out mixed messages. Trump's on television standing next to Fauci, who is telling folks to socially distance and wear masks, and then Trump is out holding gatherings and things like that where no masks are required. You can pack them in as tight as possible. So even if no matter how you view Biden, I will give him credit for at least delivering a unified message. The message could have been wrong, but it wasn't a mixed message like that.
Well, here's your pushback on that. And Biden did try to deliver a unified message. Unfortunately, his senators and congressmen, in particular, Pelosi, travels to China, walks around without a mask, and says there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, but that is also not his. When I say administration, I mean his direct advisors. Like I'm telling you, like the CDC, the FDA. You're talking about a congresswoman,
right? And I'm just saying, though, and Biden did try to do a unified message, but the others, they tried to take advantage of it. And one of the biggest things that made people mad at the Biden administration over the pandemic was this, is when they started trying to force the jab. If you want to keep your job, you got to get the jab. If you want to be like here in Kentucky, to get a real ID, you had to go and get the jab. Now I could have. Hold on.
But why are you blaming folks who were trying to force you to vaccinate on Biden? He didn't make any company do that. That your company or a business thought this is good for our business, good for our customers, for their health and safety. We're going to implement this. The Biden administration didn't force anybody to do that. Why is he getting the blame?
The Biden administration opened the door for them to do that. And that's why I also said Kentucky, the state government of Kentucky, actually said, basically they said everybody's driver's licenses are no longer real ID. If you want a real ID, you got to get a jab. And that when it started going into the courts, they started pushing it back until finally a decision was made by the Supreme Court that said you cannot force people to get the jab in order to, one,
but you're saying,
or two, keep their job.
You're saying Biden opened the door for people to do that. What happened to your love of states' rights? If Kentucky started requiring people to get the jab, I thought you were a fan of states' rights.
I am a fan of states' rights.
So how is Biden getting blamed? Biden didn't order the state of Kentucky to do any of that.
No, he did not. But I gave a example of a private business, and I gave an example of a government. I will not criticize one without the other.
But I'm trying to figure out, where does Biden, you mentioned people being forced to be vaccinated, and you're blaming Biden for that. But Biden didn't hand down any lawful orders or executive actions requiring people to get vaccinated. Why is he getting blamed for it?
That's what I was saying. That's who everybody blamed. They said
why? Why are they blaming him?
Not 100% certain on it, but like I said, I do know that's what everybody says. Biden opened the door. Biden started pushing, and Trump even said, go and get the shot. Even Trump did it.
Right, but they don't blame Trump. Trump is the guy that's on television with the guy you folks on the right believe is the boogeyman, Dr. Fauci. Biden is not on TV with Fauci. Trump was. Yet Biden somehow gets the blame. I don't understand that.
I think Biden's getting the blame because of the continued mishandling of it.
So the guy who originates the guy who goes on television with the guy you guys think is a boogeyman who originates all this gets no blame, but the guy who continues it, as you putting it, because Biden continued doing it, you skip over the originator and only give blame to the continuation?
Well, it started at the end of Trump's administration, and the bulk of it was handled by Biden. I think that's why everybody wants to blame Biden. I mean, that's all I can give is an opinion on that. And they're like assholes. Everybody has one.
Yeah. I gotta say that seems odd, because if Fauci is the main guy that MAGA believes screwed all of this up, you do realize Trump could have reallocated Dr. Fauci to something else and had a whole new advisor on television telling us what to do. He chose to keep Fauci around, yet he gets no accountability for that.
Well, I agree with you. Here's one thing I can tell you, okay? And under Biden's administration, when all this mess kicked off, and here's one you can blame me for, okay? The trucking industry can blame me for this, because I got sent out on a road call to an RV, and the person who owned that RV was actually part of the CDC. And in general conversation, I asked, well, what about truckers? What are we going to do about the trucking industry? Because they go in and out of these facilities every day. They can catch something in California and transport it 2,000 miles across the U.S. before anyone realizes it. And let me tell you, when I asked her that question, she turned white as a sheet. I mean, she went pale.
Wow.
She immediately picked up her phone and started making phone calls.
Okay.
Now, that much I do know was handled under Biden's administration. And unfortunately, the trucking industry did suffer because of it. So that's one you can actually blame on me. Because that was right up here off of exit 179 at a KOA campground in East Park.
Okay. I got to move it on, but I'm just simply saying, if you're going to blame the handling of how things was done during the pandemic, I don't personally see how Trump gets a pass. But I got to move it on, Country Hound Dog.
I'll see you around.
Thanks. Appreciate you coming in. And real quick, looking in the comments, someone said something I really wanted to respond to. This came from Raptor. Says, if Trump fired Fauci, then Trump is the bad guy. So we're going to assume that Trump decided to keep Fauci on, giving everybody bad information, bad instructions that could potentially harm children, ruin the economy, and even cost lives, simply because he didn't want to appear to be the bad guy. Is that what we're hearing? By the way, we've had Trump around in politics now almost 10 years. When the hell has he ever demonstrated that he gave a damn about being the bad guy? Why is that coming up? Do you think Trump really gives a damn about being referred to as the bad guy? You think he's going to change a decision because he don't want to be the bad guy? Really? He's been around long enough. You got enough data to know Trump doesn't give a damn about being the bad guy. Moving on with the program, though. Since when does that bother Trump? He loves being the bad guy. Yeah, I don't. Guy goes around with the fuck your feelings as a slogan, but he wants to be viewed as a good guy. I don't think Trump gives a damn about being a bad guy. Looking in the comments, though, Biden has been a bad guy for half a century. Well, then you got to blame a hell of a lot of Americans because he kept winning a lot of elections, V-Pirate. Thank you for your comment. Stop taking benefits and privileges from the government and you will be good. It's not that hard to figure out. Stop taking privileges and benefits from the government and you'll be good. I don't see how I benefit by not taking privileges and benefits from anybody. I mean, wouldn't privileges and benefits be helpful to my life? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know what that type of comment is aimed at. I do have a way I can speculate, but I'll leave it at that. Continuing on with the one and only Moo, the tuxedo cat. Good afternoon. Wait a minute. Oh, Takesha. All right, fair enough. Takesha, good afternoon.
Hey, handsome.
Hey, what's up? Good to have you back on. You watching the debate tonight?
Huh?
You watching the debates tonight? The debate tonight?
With my popcorn and water by the side of the bed. Yes.
Popcorn
as I rub myself and get excited for what's to come.
Did you say as I what myself?
I'm just playing. Go ahead. You know I have to just make you, act fool. Yeah,
I'm black as hell and I'm blushing. Wow.
Okay. Rub myself and get excited.
Oh my God. I'm like, did I actually hear what I thought I heard? I've never thought about masturbating to a debate, but I love it.
You know I have to come in with some foolishness.
All right. So let me ask you this though. Because you obviously lean left. What questions are you hoping that are directed at Trump? What do you hope they ask him?
What policies, what new policies is he going to implement? If he wins the office, what's he planning to do? He said he can make everything better. How is he going to make everything better? That's really what I need. I think
know. Takesha, I think that's a softball. I could knock that one out the park.
No, you asked me what. Okay. I'm not done.
Okay, keep going.
And I want them to ask him, does he think it's fair that felons can't vote, but they can run for a political office?
Now that one's a bit more interesting. Now there you go.
I also want to ask, how does he think? What kind of example does he think he's giving, being a felon, still trying to run for office?
Wow. Now you're getting more difficult as you go on. Okay, all right.
I want to know why the Republicans that don't support you are now being called rhinos.
Whoa. Yeah, okay, you there now. Your first question was easy. These are hard.
I want to know how you can say you're a Christian when you said that when you take the crackers and the juice, which is communion, we call it the Lord's Supper, how you can say they give you that for forgiveness. That's not what that's for, but you this great Christian. You couldn't name a Bible verse. You know nothing about it, but you're this great Christian. How could you take the rights of women and expect women to vote for you?
Well, your reference of taking the rights of women away is probably as strong of a Christian tenet as there is. I mean, the Christian...
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Saving, protecting the sanctity of the unborn, that's not Christian-like?
Let me explain this to you.
Please do.
As a Christian, I'm not even going to claim the word Christian because it has been hijacked so hard till I don't say that. The Bible says that you can be forgiven for anything that you do as long as you come to the Lord and ask.
Okay.
You telling people that they can't have an abortion because it's not the Christian way is basically telling people it's okay to lie. It's okay to steal as long as you don't have an abortion.
I don't quite get that. You do realize they believe that you're...
What I'm saying is they want to make this like the greatest sin in America. But you can steal, you can kill, you can covet your neighbor, you can commit adultery, you can commit fornication, but they're not making any laws for any of that stuff.
Oh, I get it. Okay, you're saying it's hypocrisy.
It's very hypocritical. Yeah. Now you're putting the 10 Commandments in the schools, but you're not following any of them. So what's that going to do?
Okay, you win that one. It took me a minute to understand it, but I can't deny that. I mean, there is a lot of hypocrisy. I'm not very Christian because of all of that hypocrisy I've learned as I've become an adult. So I can't argue with that.
It's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
You're going to punish me for something I did with my body, but you at the hotel with this man's wife. But you don't want to be punished.
Yeah, and that is a good point. That if you're talking about from Trump's reference, you want to punish women for the sin of murder, I guess you'd call it abortion, but it's okay when he's cheating on his wife, which is adultery, which is part of the Ten Commandments. So I can't argue with that.
And you can murder a person with your tongue. There is life and death in the power. You know what I don't mind, but no, what I'm saying is, handsome. I said you got some men with some tongues that'll just take you down through that. But we're not talking about that, handsome. I'm saying there is the power of life and death in the tongue. That's all I'm saying. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, shit. Okay, this is turning to another live, and I'm loving it. All right, let me stop before I end up driving home with no hands. So, wow.
Being so bad, you got to apologize to him. Go ahead, Ansel.
I don't have shit to say after that. I don't have shit to say. All right, let me end this. I gotta go.
I'm trying to be serious.
Now you tell me that?
Stop it.
I gotta damn near change the sheets, and now you want to get serious? So let me ask you this though: are you confident in Biden's cognitive abilities tonight?
I am.
You think he's gonna be dignified?
I think he's gonna.
What if he comes out there and fucks up and looks like he's out of his rocker? Should he step down?
I wouldn't care if they had to roll Biden in a wheelbarrow on hospice and take a string tied to a pin and let somebody else pull the string while he's signing stuff. I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump.
All right. So how do you respond to somebody who might say you got an extreme case of Tango Delta Sierra TDS?
Of who?
Trump derangement syndrome.
Why would I have Trump derangement syndrome? I don't think about Trump unless somebody bring his little ugly self up. Guess what they got? ODS, Obama derangement syndrome, because they keep bringing that man up. That man I didn't enjoy his life. So as long as they got TDS, as long as they think I got TDS, they got ODS. Obama derangement syndrome is what you have.
All right.
How about that?
All right. Appreciate you coming through, Takesha.
Okay, my love.
All right. Hot to her. Talk to you later.
All right, I'm finna go jump on the FedEx man. He's finna knock at the door.
All right. Oh, my God. Okay. Wow. Takesha never disappoints. I didn't think she was going to go that far left, but hey, shout out to it. Interesting live. Tap the screen, folks. Get the likes up to about 40,000. Same on YouTube. Appreciate you folks tuning in this great debate day. Probably one of the most watched presidential debates ever. Not only in our lifetime, but probably ever. She is in the real woods, says Cake Gang. Her name even starts with the T. I don't know what that means. Trump wants to do away with income tax and raise tariffs, which was tried before the Great Depression. I don't know if you can. I mean, some of the things I'm going to be straight up and tell you. Some of the things Trump is promising, there's no way. I mean, even MAGA is saying things like giving police immunity is not likely to happen. So some of the things he's promising, I think, might be for effect more than actual law. But he is promising that. Do you think Biden will get a hard question tonight? Yes, I do, Larry. And I'll tell you why before I go back to the box. And thank you, folks that are tapping the screen. Get the likes up to about 50,000 on TikTok. Appreciate you folks on YouTube. We can do 90 if you smash that like button. Top three dots in the upper right hand corner of your screen gives you access to the like button. Get the likes up to about 90. Will Biden get a hard question? Yeah. I think that Trump, just like with Biden's cognitive abilities, Trump is really good at messaging and getting people to draw their attention to something. Just like everybody's going to be looking at how Biden walks out there and how he talks, because Trump has made him sound like a bumbling buffoon. He's also did very well in regards to messaging that CNN is biased in favor of the liberals, that they're going to try to derail the debate in favor of Biden. So if all of a sudden Biden gets a bunch of snowball questions and Trump gets all this real January 6th election and all this real hard stuff, what do you think Trump's going to be talking about later that night on his Truth Social, talking about sending out messages later that night? CNN has something to prove, because he is just like Biden, because of the cognitive ability rumors, he also has something to prove, which in my opinion could be a little bit of pressure. I mean, because it's like being on the free throw line and somebody said you can't hit a shot. Adds a little bit of pressure. So we'll see what happens. But I don't believe that CNN is going to try to play favorites in this. I just don't. I mean, because everybody is expecting that, particularly on the right side of the aisle, because Trump has been saying it already. Rigged, says Gene. Evidence, says your host. Going back to the box, I will go straight to one of my other subscribers, Moo, the Tuxedo Cat. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Yeah, Gregory, thank you for the hat and mustache. So what do you think? Up, you going to be watching the debate tonight, Moo?
Nah, man, I'm going to be playing Helldivers, too. I'm not going to be watching the debate.
What is Helldivers?
Helldivers is a fairly new game that just came out. It's like, you ever see Starship Troopers?
Yes, good movie.
It's Starship Troopers as a video game.
Oh, trying to kill the brain bug.
Yeah, man, there's all kinds of bugs you kill in it. It's really cool, man. If you guys have a PlayStation or PC, man, I recommend the shit out of Helldivers.
Why are you going to skip the debate, though? You're progressive. You're in politics.
Yeah, there's nothing for me to see, my dude. What am I going to watch? Biden make a bunch of promises he won't live up to, and Trump talk about being afraid of sharks, right? That's what I'm going to miss. Listen, I'm very different than most people in this world, man. I don't live for drama. I don't care about all this, these court cases and things like that. They're all an embarrassment to this country, right? He's an embarrassment to this country, Trump is. And to be frank with you, man, Biden's too old to be president. Trump is too old to be president. So again, my pick is between an old guy or an old crazy guy. I don't need to watch an old guy debate an old crazy guy. There's nothing for me to see there.
I mean, so at the end of the day, you almost sound like somebody who would normally say, I'm going to sit this one out. I'm not even going to vote.
I told you, dude, the only reason I'm voting for Biden is to further the progressive agenda, right? Because if Trump becomes a dictator, I no longer have the option of filling the Democrat Party with progressives. That's the only reason I'm voting for Biden.
It's interesting you would say that being a progressive. I guess I'd ask you a question that's kind of a side topic. How do you feel? One of the squad has lost his position out there in New York.
That's a huge loss, man. That's a huge loss because he was one of the best congressmen to ever serve.
Really? Based on what?
Yeah, so people were mad at him for voting against the infrastructure bill, right? But nobody ever looks into why the squad voted against the infrastructure bill, right? The reason they voted, and I told this to Zeus the other day, the reason they all voted against the infrastructure bill is because they wanted to shotgun through the Build Back Better bill with it because there were many progressive provisions in there. The child tax credit was in there. The child care, helping people pay for child care was in there, right? And the reason they wanted to shotgun it through is because they knew Joe Manchin was going to hold up the bill and gut the shit out of all the progressive agenda that was in there. And guess what? Bowman was right. Now you guys have a corporatist Democrat who they spent $24 million, AIPAC and other big corporations did to get Bowman out of office. And he still didn't even lose by that much. That's how powerful the progressive agenda is, man. They have to that's the most expensive congressional primary in all American history.
Yeah.
That's how hard you have to try to beat progressives at this point, okay? Bowman didn't want to give money to Palestine. MAGA should be furious at this point because Bowman didn't want to give money to Palestine. He wanted to give us child care. He wanted to give you the child tax credit back. And you can't tell me that MAGA doesn't want these things because they use these benefits more than any other type of people. So MAGA should be furious right now that a guy who wanted America first, who didn't want to give our money to Israel.
What about Ukraine?
Is now out of office.
How did he vote on Ukraine?
I mean, so, MAGA really likes Putin, right? And no, I agree with Ukraine. He wanted to fund Ukraine. The progressives want an end, a meaningful end to the war in Ukraine. But we are for democracy and we are against Russia. And what Biden has done in Ukraine, and I watched a video on it last night, Russia's losing. They're running out of tanks. They're running out of armaments. They're actually losing more tanks than they can even keep up with manufacturing. If Ukraine can just hold out a little longer, Russia will be decimated and they won't be able to conduct another war for a very, very long time.
Oddly enough, Thank you for the super chat. Gen X
It's
on
not bullshit.
Gen
It's
X
not
on.
bullshit.
Hold on, hang on. Oddly enough, Gen X on YouTube says, "Holy shit!" in all caps. Moo and I agree. Now Gen X is definitely MAGA. You got MAGA agreeing with you. What the hell? Says hell.
Listen,
Oh, he
guys,
said.
listen.
Hold on. He
So,
says Helldivers 2 is awesome.
no, I figure, no, and I'm sure he's probably really good at the game, man. And if you weren't crazy, I might even give you my gamer tag and play with you. But you're a nut job, so I can't.
So not watching the debates though. Wow. So you're voting for Trump. I mean, you're voting for Biden. You don't give a damn about his cognitive abilities at all.
So again, I have two people that I can vote for, my dude. One tried to overthrow our government, right? And the other will just leave when he's done. I'm gonna go with the guy who will just leave when he's done. I told you again, I was in the Navy for 6 years. I swore an oath to defend the Constitution of this country. Once you try to overthrow the government, it's over at that point. You can't do anything to win me back after something like that.
You know what's interesting, though? With you making a statement that Trump tried to overthrow the government, being, a veteran yourself, why do you think there's so many millions of folks that do not believe what happened on January 6th was an insurrection or an attempt to overthrow the government?
Because they don't want to admit that it was, partially. The rest of them legitimately think that they're doing the right thing. These guys think that this is the way you get change. You violently oppose your opposition. So this is what fascism is, right? You use whatever means necessary to get rid of your opposition, including and up to violence and unaliving. That's what fascists do. That's why people call you all fascists, right?
But were they trying to overthrow the government, or were they, in their opinion, trying to get folks to realize the election was stolen from them?
So you already have people like Kenneth Chesborough who told you that he engineered the whole fake elector scheme. It's not a question of whether they tried to overthrow the government or not. It's a question of when is the trial going to start? When is the guilty verdict going to come down? And when can we have some sentencing? Because it's very clear that there was an elector scheme at this point, because people have already provided proof that there was, and they've admitted to it. So it's not a question of if.
But when you make the statement, when is the trial going to come down and things like that, at the end of the day, being honest, do you feel confident that people will be criminally punished for that?
Yeah. They're already being punished for it, my dude. There's already people being criminally punished.
At the upper levels, though, not protesters. I mean at the upper level.
Yeah, there is upper level people getting. I mean, Rudy Giuliani's already been punished the shit out of for lying about Dominion and other various things, right? So was the Kraken lady whose name I can't remember because she doesn't fucking matter anyway, right? Kenneth Chesborough had to strike a plea deal, otherwise he would be in jail already. So there's already people who have been punished in the upper echelon of Trump's administration.
Yeah, well, I mean, but do you see Trump himself as potentially doing jail time or anything like that?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, my dude. No, and not because he doesn't deserve it, but because this country worships the elite. Right? Trump is not a regular guy, right? He's not some guy who puts things together with his hands and built these buildings like MAGA likes to have you believe. He went to finishing school. He was born into money. He had his college degree paid for by his father because all of his teachers say that he was a fucking moron, right? So this guy is an elitist. He's been an elitist his whole life. He has nothing in common with the degenerates that worship him, but they're in a cult, so it is what it is.
Let me ask it to you this way. I hear your opinion about what you thought happened on January 6th. Let's go back to January 5th, the day before that happened. How do you view Trump running the country? If what happened on January 6th did not take place, would you be more likely to consider voting for Trump?
So here's the deal, right? Trump sold off a bunch of public lands to drill into the ground. I don't like it. Trump's wanted to build a useless wall and pretend that Mexico is going to pay for it, but really he's going to waste my fucking tax dollars on it. I don't like it. Trump wants to give even more subsidies to oil companies. I don't like it. So I am mad at both, right? It's not mutually exclusive, right? You can hate Trump as a person and hate his policies at the same time. They are not mutually exclusive. Trump is a piece of shit who deserves to get hated. His policies are also shit, which deserve to be hated. It's both.
But you don't like Biden's policies either, am I correct?
No, I have a few policies that I like of Biden's action. I'm very big on the CHIP Act. You know I love AI, so I love the CHIPS Act. Okay. I think the infrastructure bill was not comprehensive enough. I think the border bill is garbage. First of all, that's not a bipartisan bill. The Democrats want to pretend that they helped out with that, but that is a Republican bill. And the Democrats were going to cave to Republicans to try and get something done on the border so that they can at least look good. But really, that's not going to do much of anything to the border because, again, it doesn't address the main issue. And the main issue is people are coming here because the economies in their countries suck. So if you don't do trade deals and new manufacturing deals with these countries, which by the way is mutually beneficial, right? Building a fucking wall just wastes your tax dollars. It gives you no benefit. And Trump already added like 50 some miles of wall on top of the 600 miles of walls and barriers that are already there. So if there's more wall, there should be less immigrants, right? Because more wall is better, right? Less wall means less immigrants, except for the fact that most illegals, and we're not talking about asylum seekers, right? We're talking about illegals right now. Illegals come in through port of entries with fake border crossing cards. They come through the border patrol. So what the fuck is gonna get, what the fuck is funding more border patrol gonna do for you when the illegals already come through ports of entry past the border patrol that you're gonna make more of?
I don't know. You believe the wall is genuinely useless?
Yeah, the wall is genuinely useless. Yeah. You know what would be useful? You know what would be real useful? Maybe striking some deals with Mexico, with taking the sanctions down on Venezuela, maybe making some trade deals with them at this point, right? They have oil. Maybe we should make some trade deals for their oil. We can actually use that oil. We can't refine the oil we have here. Then we improve their economies. And at the same time, we get a benefit from those trade deals because it will help improve our economy and reduce the amount of immigrants coming here. It's a win for everybody.
I will say I disagree with your notion on the wall, but all the trade deals you mentioned, I do believe that would be very beneficial for this country, more so than the wall. But I disagree with you that the wall has zero benefits. All right, move.
That's fine.
Exactly.
You have a good one, my dude.
Thank you. Very well yourself. All right, moving the program on. Gen Xer, by the way, says if Trump wins this debate, he's going to jail on July 11th. So if Trump wins the debate, this is where I'm interpreting this as. If Trump wins the debate, the mindset is that the election is now in the bag for President Trump. The likelihood of him winning becomes an overwhelming force. So to prevent him from getting in Washington, the sentence date that is in his future, regardless, that's coming up anyway, they're going to put his ass in jail. Interesting. I'm not going to say that that's an impossibility. Whatever happens on the 11th in New York, I'm not going to say it's tied to the debate. But I'm going to point it out this way. Regardless of how you feel about Trump in the Alvin Bragg case, you believe it was justified or a witch hunt or whatever the case may be. I've said it numerous times. If you go to court, even if it's on bullshit, trumped up charges, no pun intended, and you treat the judge like shit, your outcome is probably not going to be favorable, even if the cases are totally fabricated. The way Trump treated that judge in New York, bringing up his daughter and his family, no, it really wouldn't surprise me if he put him in jail for 30 days or sat him down for 45 or 60 days. I think a lot of Americans have already said they would do it. I know a lot of MAGA believe that case is bullshit. There are liberals that believe that case is bullshit. Lots of independents that believe that case is bullshit. Nevertheless, you don't get to disrespect members of the court. How many African Americans are on TV fighting with the cops over a bullshit stop? They're profiling them, stop and frisk. And when something goes wrong, people say you should have fought that out in court. You should have complied with the officer. Yeah, it was a bullshit case, but you should have complied with the cop. Well, that applies here too. Just because you don't believe your case is legit, you can't just go off on the judge. I mean, that really would undermine the criminal justice system, because there's a lot of Americans that end up in court for crappy cases. If they all acted like Trump, I do believe it could really, really hurt our judicial system in this country. But look at it in the comments, 78% of America, we are going the wrong direction. Well, that's your opinion, Jim. What you believe is the wrong direction for America may be really putting a hurt on somebody else. I'd have to hear your policies, but everybody has a different principles they stand on. So you believe the wrong direction. Now you're saying 78% of Americans think the country is going in the wrong direction. Some of them are still going to vote Trump or Biden. There are people who, like my last guest, he don't like Biden at all. He brought up a few policies, but he's a progressive. He doesn't favor Biden. So he personally sounds like he believes the country is not going in the right direction. But he's not voting for Trump. So, I mean, even though you're bringing that up, that doesn't really dictate where people are going to go, because in this election, both candidates are very unpopular. Biden's popularity numbers are pretty low, and I think Trump's the first president in U.S. history where during his term, he never was over 50%. So neither one, this is the most unpopular election probably since Trump versus Clinton. So looking in the comments, the judge did not find him guilty, says Nana. Well, guilty or not, the way Trump treated the judge, he found him guilty of contempt 10 times over. He certainly found him guilty of that. And that's enough to get most Americans incarcerated. Yeah! DJ Julio, appreciate that. That is where we're going. Good afternoon, DJ Julio. Welcome to the program. Are you watching the debates? Good afternoon, DJ.
I absolutely am.
So, do you think Biden's going to come out stumbling and bumbling like Trump has told us month after month, year after year?
I don't know. I don't hang out with the guys. I don't know much about them.
How does that, if let's say Biden comes out and he does look dignified, how does that make Trump look, considering what he's been saying for so long?
It's going to make him look amazing after he beats him in the election.
That ain't what I asked you.
It's going to make him look good either way.
So if Biden comes out and he looks completely different than Trump has been telling us Biden is, you're saying it'll still make Trump look good?
Well, if you remember right, he said he's a decent debater.
He also said...
I would almost say that Donald Trump was calling him a master debater.
But he also said the man cannot put together two sentences.
He really can't, not unless he's reading them from a prompt.
Okay. So when we see him tonight, I believe they got it where no notes or notepads or something like that is required or allowed. I believe he has to. He has to be improvising while he's up there. He can't even bring anything out with him. Huh?
They're not giving Biden a teleprompter?
No. You don't get a teleprompter at a debate? No, you can't get a teleprompter.
Well, he would have needed one. I guess he's screwed now.
So how do you take it if Biden comes out there with no teleprompter and puts together decent conversation?
Decent conversation or intellectual answers?
Intellectual answers. We'll go with that.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I tell you, I'll be surprised.
But you're saying that if he does that, it doesn't reflect on Trump at all, even though Trump's been telling us the guy's going to be a bumbling buffoon.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So in other words, Trump can clearly misrepresent somebody or lie, and you don't hold him accountable.
Well, I mean, how am I going to hold somebody accountable for their First Amendment right to say what they want to say, whether true or false?
So you have a First Amendment right to lie, DJ Julio. But if a politician lies to you, your response is, well, he has a First Amendment right to do so I'm not going to hold him accountable.
Right. I mean, he's not saying anything that's hurting anybody.
So as long as you're not hurting people, you can lie as much as you want.
Well, you heard Moot talk. I mean, he's not hurting anybody, but
I'm asking you.
He tells a lot of lies.
I'm asking you. And by the way, Steve on YouTube, wow, thank you, Steve, with that very generous super chat. Wow, thank you, Steve. So I don't get it, Julio. If the guy is lying about Biden's cognitive abilities, why is he doing that? If you're basically saying that he can do it, it doesn't matter. Nobody's being hurt. People may be voting based on that.
You're asking me to vote and judge a man for his opinions of a person that he's going up against for president of the United States. I can't harm nobody on their opinion, Tim. I can't harm anybody. Not you, not Moo, not no one.
Okay, so in other words, if a person is going around constantly saying Trump is a racist or an insurrectionist, you don't think that should affect anybody? It's harmless.
I mean, we've had to listen to it for 6 years.
Okay, so in other words, there's no problem with it.
No, I have zero.
Okay. I don't know. I got it. Big Dog, thank you for the hat and mustache. Appreciate that. I don't know if I agree with you. I mean, when you look at Biden, you're talking about an elderly man where Trump is making fun of, suggesting he has mental illness and things like that. You're totally okay with making fun of the elderly with mental illness, which is what Trump is kind of trying to say he's doing?
He's not necessarily just making fun of him. He's making fun of all the people that voted for this elderly, fragile man who can't take a little bit of political backlash or political shit talk. So yeah, I think that Trump's doing a very good thing by making it known that we, as in America, allowed this man in the office, and he's clearly incapable, by your own words.
So, at the end of the day, then you are okay with making fun of elderly people that may have dementia or some mental illness?
If they're put in a position of power, they need to have that brought to light. Yeah, absolutely.
No, he's not bringing it to light. He's doing a lot more than bringing it to light. He's using it as comedy.
Fun of anybody. Well, it's kind of comical that we have a president who has a hard time standing, walking, talking on stage. That's true.
I don't know if
I mean, you have never sat in a conference or anything and watched somebody just make a fool of themselves on stage and go, God, he really sucked.
And then I make fun of him. If first of all, dementia is not making a fool of yourself. Dementia is something that obviously you would not be able to control, and maybe you could blame somebody else for letting you go out there. But making fun of somebody with dementia, I don't see how that's acceptable.
You said exactly what I'm saying. It's either making fun of Biden or the people that put him there or the people that are his handlers that are allowing this. This whole thing is shit. I mean, I got to be really, really careful. I barely beat my appeal. I found out who's reporting me, though, so that's good.
I'd like to know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Offline. I'd like to know that.
Doxing is coming.
So what questions, considering how you're suggesting Biden is, what questions, with you supporting Trump, what questions do you hope are asked to Biden?
Well, I want to know more about his involvement in Ukraine. I want to know what he plans to do with the border. I want to know how he plans to build back better without us having to pay for it. While he sends all the money across the ocean, I want to know how he's going to build back America.
Okay. Some of these, I think, are a couple of them are softballs. I think you bring up the border with Biden. Anytime you bring up the border with Biden, he's going to bring up the fact that they came up with a bipartisan border bill, and Trump had it struck down at the admission of the Republicans that worked on the bill. They even came out and admitted that Trump is the reason why the bill didn't go through.
Right, but didn't that bill also have an exorbitant amount of money allotted for somebody overseas?
Yeah, but even the Republican Party...
Okay.
Hold on.
So at that point, no, that's a full stop. Because at that point, you're not working about the border. You're working on a different country across the ocean.
But it's bipartisan, Julio. It's not like the liberals just came up with a... Yes, the Republican Party was in on it until Trump told them not to be.
Yeah, the Republican Party wanted to do better with the wall. The liberals wanted to do better overseas. That was a compromise.
Here's where I think you're getting it wrong. When they had the primary, when you had those 9 other presidential contenders, Vivek, Ron DeSantis, and all them running against Trump, one of their debate questions they were asked: how many of you, if you were to become president, would support the Ukraine? They all raised their hand. Most of the Republican Party is in favor of supporting Ukraine. So, by the way, it just happened anyway. That we just allocated, I think, $50 billion to support the Ukraine. So you could have got the border bill, but you shot it down because money was in it for the Ukraine. And so you didn't get the protection of the border, but the money went to Ukraine anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's how liberals in Congress are working. That's what I see from my point of view, 100%.
So what about the Republicans that are actually in favor of assisting the Ukraine?
I guess I don't know. I'd have to look back into that. But let me just say this. I don't have a problem with assisting people overseas. But when we're spending so much money overseas and we're doing nothing to protect our own people, that's stupid. That's heartless in itself.
Well, but the border bill was going to protect Americans. It was going to protect the border, at least. They were going to do things about the border.
Right. So then we put a quash to that, and they end up sending half the money they were going to send anyway.
Why did you put a quash to it?
Because we didn't want to send the other half of the money.
And see, that's where I think I may have mentioned this with a caller before, but at the end of the day, Julio, this is what bipartisan means. You give some, you get some. What Trump and MAGA, because the regular Republicans were in favor of helping the Ukraine. But what Trump and MAGA wants is a bill that only gives them the concessions they want, and they don't want to make any submissions to the liberals. I mean, you want a bill that's perfect, that meets all of your needs, and the liberals get nothing out of it, yet it has to be authorized by the liberals. That's not compromising.
I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. The Ukraine is the liberal part of it. The border is the Republican part of it. That's what a compromise is about.
It was just too much overseas. It was too much overseas. It was not enough for here and too much over there.
And so at the end of the day, you shot the bill down, and the only thing that was done was what the liberals wanted to have done. The liberals got their way anyway.
Right. Well, that's how it works with them.
And the border that you feel is endangering Americans, thanks to Trump shooting down the border bill, will remain that way at least until January of next year.
Well, I mean, you got Texas that can take control of it, and you got the rest of them that are going to follow suit shortly. No, because California, New Mexico are liberal states. You're not going to get the security you would have gotten had you implemented the bill. Isn't New Mexico and part of California already walled up?
You think the wall? We're talking about most of the people that are here did not get here by running through the Rio Grande.
Let me inform myself a little bit better. How far does the wall go from California on?
I don't even know, because there's a lot of mountainous regions and things like that. The wall, let me just say this, Julio. The people that are coming in this country illegally, most of them are not making a run for it where a wall would stop them. They're coming on a visa and overstaying it. They're coming and seeking asylum and being granted entry and not show up to the court dates. Most of these people are not just running for it at the border.
Well, then we need to do something bigger and better then. It doesn't sound like that border policy that was bipartisan would have done any good for us anyway.
Yes, so it would have. It would have.
It's probably a good thing it got shut down.
No, the fact that so many Republicans were part of the bill should tell you it was going to help. They were going to use money to purchase, to pay for more judges. So all the people that are in the country now on asylum claims would be processed faster and potentially kicked out. The folks that are coming in after that would also be processed faster. Many would not even be allowed to stay here in the first place. You would have kicked out a lot more people than the route you guys have taken to support Trump getting reelected, hopefully.
Well, I wouldn't say hopefully. I mean, it's in motion. Everything that needs to be is in motion. We're standing up and we're standing by.
What does that phrase mean? I've heard that mean so much. What is stand back and stand by? Hopefully that doesn't get me banned. What does that phrase mean to you?
Exactly what it sounds like.
Stand by for what?
Good question. First letter.
Say that again.
It's a good question. First letter of that last word.
First letter of the last word. Stand back and stand. Why?
No, question.
You're speaking in riddles, Julio.
Well, it's a good cue. It is.
A good cue?
Yeah, it's a good question.
All right. You're coming across as the riddler. Let me ask you this. If Trump doesn't get reelected in November, is there any chance at all, in your humble opinion, of January 6th, Part 2?
No.
Okay. So MAGA will behave.
Is that a statement or a question?
That is a question.
That was kind of corny. I'm sorry. One of your comments in there was corny as fuck. Yeah, that was a little corny. Listen, I think that if we're not careful on how we go forward with our country, that it's going to be 1776 all over again.
So if Trump doesn't win in November, will MAGA behave?
I believe MAGA will behave the way they need to. I don't have the answer. I think you do. I don't have a clear answer to that. Well, you know I do.
Yeah.
I don't have a clear answer that I can share.
All right. I think you just did.
I know South Dakota, Montana, and North Dakota, and I want to say Wyoming, parts of Minnesota and Iowa are all ready.
So they're standing by.
For sure.
All right. There's a lot more I could talk to you about, but obviously they may try to censor you. Julio, you always welcome on the program. We don't have to agree on the damn thing. We probably don't. Nevertheless, come on back anytime.
Things.
Huh?
We agree a lot, Tim. We agree on a lot of
things. We don't agree on this shit.
Well, not today, we don't.
Right.
This topic about tonight is going to be, I mean, I've been listening to everybody else, and it's speculative at best by everyone.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what tonight's going to look like or how it's going to look like after tonight.
I don't think much is going to change. I think Biden's going to come out there looking dignified. They're going to say he was strung out on cocaine and we'll go back to normal. Nana Gent on YouTube says, now we know why you get banned all the time, Julio.
They are totally watching me. I enjoy it.
All right. Appreciate you coming through, man. Gotta go.
Yes, sir, man.
All right. Looking in the comments, those Taiwan super chops China got that they think our hackers won't see on November 5th won't work. Taiwan super chops. What the hell are they? What is this? Taiwan? Democrats are already saying that they will be violent if Trump wins. Look at what they did on Inauguration Day in D.C. What? Democrats have said, I don't see that. I'm not going to say that Democrats are not above it happening. I'll go back to the box. By the way, tap the screen. We should be about 70,000. Here's where I do believe you could have civil unrest, civil war damn near, after this election. I'll give you my explanation on that. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 70,000. Appreciate the support on YouTube. Smash that like button. 140 can be done. By the way, this is an uncensored format. We're MAGA friendly, always have been, always will be. Liberals are welcome as well. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. Everybody gets to speak. You don't have to agree with anybody in the comment section or even the host. It's all about free speech here. If you favor that sort of a platform, feel free to follow the program on TikTok. My YouTubers, a subscription, if you will. Thank you. So the way you could have civil unrest, a civil war, in my humble opinion, I don't believe it just really comes down to who wins the election or not. I do believe, as one of my viewers stated, that if Trump wins, I do believe there will be some liberal protests that could certainly involve some violence. I mean, after all, Trump is promising to give police immunity. I don't think the African American or Hispanic communities will like that at all. Largest deportation in history. Clearly, some people are going to be treated wrongfully in that. So you could have some liberal violence, but I don't think it would get to the level of civil unrest. Same thing if Biden wins again. I think you could have some lone American terrorists taking place, actions of terrorism, but I don't think it would get all the way up to civil unrest. I do believe Biden would probably, you talking about Nancy Pelosi with the National Guard, I think she would actually measure up this time. I think that a lot of folks expect MAGA not to like the election results if Trump loses. I think the government would be a bit more prepared. I think this time you might have a lot more Ashley Babbitts to those who got out of hand. So I don't think it would get that far. Where could you have civil war? I believe if Trump was to get reelected and go on a mission of revenge is where it would happen. All of a sudden now you want to bring and put General Milley on trial. Maybe you want to put anybody in regards to the 2020 election that did not rule in your favor. You want to fire a bunch of judges. You start punishing people who have large fan bases, people who are highly respected in their respective fields. Obviously, a lot of folks were willing to fight and die for General Milley, General Petraeus. So if you're trying to have court martials and things, a lot of folks in the military, you probably divide the military in half doing things like that. Going after members of the Republican Party that maybe did not agree and actually voted for him to be impeached. If he has a administration that is vengeful, I believe that's where you could have civil unrest. But if he gets back in office and he just governs from a far right perspective, you'll have sections of liberals getting pissed off and maybe doing a few things here or there, but I do believe it will be okay. But if he starts, literally trying to, go after everybody that he don't believe treated him right, that's where you would get it from. That's where I think it would happen. I could be wrong, but I think that because a lot of these folks have huge fan bases. Lots of people supporting them. As I mentioned, military folks that people were willing to fight and go to combat for and die. And all of a sudden, somebody who's highly respected, well, you want to have this person thrown in prison? You'd probably have half the military not wanting to act on their behalf. So I think that's where it would come. Anyhow, looking in the comment section, watch the 2020 debate. Trump predicted damn near everything under the Biden administration. I disagree with that. I believe you predict that a person's going to be a bumbling buffoon. Anything that Biden may have done good, you didn't predict that. You only predicted the bad things. Going back to the box, we'll continue the program on with one of my other subscribers, Top Dog. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. I hope some of the people on this chat wears the white hood in the daytime. Damn, Diesel. You tell me you got Klan members out here? Top Dog, good afternoon.
What's going on, Tim? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on. Are you going to be watching the debate this evening, 8 p.m.? I think it's Eastern time. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, I'll be locked in. I'll be sitting down checking it out. Yes, sir.
So what do you lean left, I'm correct, right? You're more leaning towards Biden?
Yes, sir.
So what questions would you like for Trump to be asked?
Oh, this might sound petty. I would ask him this just to check his integrity. Did you say Hillary Clinton should be locked up?
There's no way you can. There's no way you can deny it. It's on video.
Yeah, but we know Trump. He'll still deny it.
That's
I would ask. I would ask him the hard question because politicians they're gonna make it sound good. I would ask him a direct. We know the answer. We want to see. We want to check your integrity. Wow. Did you say that Hillary Clinton should be locked up? Because he told Fox News, I never said it. I never said it.
That is true. It's kind of like getting pulled over by the police and they think you got a stolen ID and they look at the ID and say, what's your birth date? I get your point. You're basically saying we're going to start right off the bat and see if this guy's willing to lie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I wish that they could have on both sides, right on there, sitting down with the moderators, fact checkers. So they can whatever those politicians say, we can tell you within a minute that's a lie. Because they're gonna get up there and say whatever, to sell it to the people.
Well, fact is, right after the debate, every cable news outlet is gonna have folks that are fact checking everything they say. Just watch the debate on CNN right after it goes off. David Muir on ABC right after it goes off. Fox News right after it goes off. Sean Hannity has a show coming on. I mean, so you'll get all your fact checking. It won't be in real time. It'll be right after the debate is over with.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But I want to check them right there on the spot, right on camera. Because once they gone and about their day, Yeah, it is what it is. But I'm talking about right there on the spot. That's a lie. That's a
yeah, but that would make the debate should go on well after midnight. I mean, because let's say, for instance, Trump says, I didn't say that, and then you say he did. Well, he's going to rebut that. I mean, and so you're fact-checking people, and they're all going to rebut your claim that they're lying. I mean, so every question would go on. It'd be like a game of baseball going into extra innings. I mean, it would go on forever.
I mean, that's true. I mean, now we just, we wishful thinking right now. So that's what I would wish for, I mean, it's not going to happen, but at least even on not just Trump, but Biden too, if he say something that's a blatant lie, should be able to stop it and call him out. Hey, Joe Biden, that's a lie. That's not true. But, that's wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't totally disagree with fact checking. I mean, obviously, I enjoy, politics and things like that. But for some folks who only want, can barely stomach 2 hours of it, fact checking would easily lengthen that debate quite a bit. I mean, so people who are not like in love with politics, they're not going to stomach all of that.
I mean, you're right. That's true. That is true. It would take a few hours because it would stop, have to go back and things like that. Yeah. But that's just what I would wish for if we could.
So at the end of the day, do you think Biden is going to come out there, barely can talk, tripping over the stage like Trump has suggested so much?
Nah, he's going to be nowhere close. He's going to go out. I believe he's going to go out there and just do a good job. He's going to speak his words, not going to fumble his words. He's going to look in the camera, stand dignified, and, he's going to be Joe Biden. What we've seen at the State of the Union, somebody that he can hold his weight.
DJ Julio, appreciate the hat and mustache. So if you think Biden is coming out dignified, I guess I just ask it this way. With Biden's age, dignified or not, do you feel confident if he's reelected in November, he can give us a true 4 years of governing?
I'll say that'd be hard. Let's be honest. Nah.
I mean, if he does his term, when he leaves office, he'll be 86. You think he's good for that?
No, he'll be up in age, and he's already up in age. But that's why you have a good vice president. That's the reason why you select a good vice president. So if you can't make it for whatever reason, medical, whatever it may be, you have somebody that can step down and go from there. What I believe what will happen, in my opinion, Biden will do 1 or 2 years, and I believe he'll just step down. He'll pass it over to Kamala. That's what I think will happen.
So
I don't think he would try to go.
So anybody voting for Biden, you believe they are indeed voting for Kamala?
I mean, at this age, you kind of got to.
Wow.
I mean, he's 81 years old, pushing 80, or I think he just turned 81. I mean, you kind of have to. I mean, he's 81, in America, a man's average age is like 72. So he's past that already.
Yeah, they both have outlived the average lifespan of an American white male. Let me ask you this, though, because you mentioned that you see Kamala being a decent VP. Jack Wagon on YouTube put in a whole bunch of smiley face emojis laughing at you. Why do you say Kamala would be a decent vice president? What has she done to lead you to believe she could be up to the job?
I mean, I just believe Kamala. I mean, to me, she haven't done nothing wrong. I mean, really, as a vice president, what do they really do while they're in office? They might help out push different policies, but she haven't really even Mike Pence. What do they really do? They really don't do anything.
And that's true. I mean? And that's true. The folks in
people so quick to judge Kamala, but really, she hasn't done anything.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, you raise a good point, because if folks on the right want to suggest that Kamala, about to say DJ Kamala, thank you, DJ Julio, but if folks on the right want to say that Kamala is not a good VP, you got to point out that the folks on the right actually wanted to lynch their own.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But what about this statement? I'm gonna give you a statement coming from YouTube. You take it any way you want. Sound like you said you lean towards Biden. Daniel on YouTube said, I would rather be dead than red. Do you agree with that?
What do you mean by red? What do you
Republican, right wing, Republican, MAGA.
I'm not. No. I love life, so I'm never gonna say I'd rather be dead than red. No, I don't know about that one. That's
pretty passionate. Right, yeah, that's pretty damn passionate.
Talking right there. You know what I mean? Nah. I love life. I love life. Love everything about it. So no, I don't agree with that at all.
But have you ever heard of the phrase "give me liberty" or "give me death"? If you believe somebody's taking your rights away, you're willing to die for what you believe in.
once again, I love life. So even no matter where I'm at in the world, I'm still going to take life over death.
All right, I get you.
You know,
I mean,
people say, you hear people say, well, when we might get a little religious, people say, well, I'm ready to go to heaven for the next, because it's better. Well, I like Earth, handsome. I like where I can, listen to me. I like where I can talk to you. I can talk to my woman. I can talk to my kids. I can hug my mama. I can hug my kids. So I'm not too pressed about heaven. Heaven is right here on earth to me. This is heaven where I can call you. I can call my brother and come over. We can have a beer. We can go out to the mall, go shopping, go see the kids, go to the game. That's heaven.
Shit, your life sounds so damn good. I'm going to question: are you sober right now? Shit, my life ain't that fucking good.
My opinion, life is good. We on earth right now. We living, we breathing, we seeing, we talking. We got our mind, we got our health. So life is good.
All right. So in the comments, Freebird asks, what is life without freedom, though? I mean, you said you're going to choose life. If you felt that a candidate was going to come in office, like for instance, Trump is promising to give police immunity from prosecution. You're going to lose some freedoms in something like that. Hopefully he's not able to implement it, but that's probably not good for your well-being. So what is life if you're not free?
Well, like you just said, it's a promise. Politicians say whatever they need to say to make it sound good. We know that's not going to happen. Okay. I believe people on the right is going to have pushback with that too. It won't just be all the Democrats. Even people on the right will say, no, that is a little bit too much. Even some police officers probably would stand down there and say, hey, we don't need to be like that.
I don't know about that part of it. I was agreeing with you until you said the police. The police would love to have immunity. Why the hell would I not want a job where I don't have to worry about being disciplined and held accountable? I think the police force and the police union would overwhelmingly favor being granted immunity.
Well, because not all of them, but some, they know that'll give the police officers somewhat free reign to do what they want to do.
That's kind of how it works.
You wouldn't have absolutely control over them because they feel like, well, it don't matter what I do. I'll get a slap on the wrist for it.
Yeah. I don't know.
It'd be too much for you.
Yeah, I don't know on that one. So at the end of the day, though, you're favoring Biden. You're admitting you don't think he is capable, or not, I won't say capable, but you're admitting you don't know if you feel confident he'll survive all 4 years in office. Maybe he'll still be alive, but you're saying it's a good chance he may be handed to Kamala.
He'll be alive, you know what I mean? But do I think that he might just step down for whatever reason, medical, mental? I can see that happen. He can try to stick it out 4 years, but I'll say this. When my grandfather passed when he was like 87, when he was 80, he was still there. But when he got like to 83, 84, 85, he wasn't the same person. Wow. Nah, he was not. He was totally different.
How do you feel about Biden continuing to run if even folks like you who support him feel like he ain't going to do the whole 4 years? How does that make Biden look running for a job that he is not likely to complete?
Well, same thing with Trump. They like the power.
So Biden,
the president's seat, I mean, you the man. Everything is at your begging call when you're the president of the United States. You can go, come, everything is waiting on you. I mean, it's a power trip.
I hear your point, but at Biden's age, first of all, as president, once you leave office, you get, I think it's $1 million per year travel budget. So you still can go and everything is covered for you for the rest of your life. Not to mention, unlike Obama, Biden was already rich when he became president. So everything he's going to be a powerful man that can come and go for the rest of his life, whether he's president or not.
Well, like you just said, Biden already have money, so the money doesn't mean anything once I step away. He likes the power right now, the control, and that's what he have right now. I'm in power, and I don't want to give it up. It's just like any other dictator in different countries. They don't want to give up power. Nobody wants. Look at Trump; he's running again because he wants that same power back.
Wow, you use them. I've never heard these words used from a liberal in connection with Biden. You're referring to him as power hungry. You're saying he's kind of like a dictator. You're talking about Biden. I haven't heard that. But
that's just what it is. For sure, it's power. It's power. You think Obama wouldn't have ran for the third time if he could have?
Yeah. Well, he could have done it if he put his wife out there.
Well, no.
I mean, at the end of the day, unlike Hillary Clinton, because Hillary Clinton did run, but Michelle Obama would be exceptionally competitive if she ran. I mean, she would be I'm not saying she would win, but I definitely don't feel confident she would lose either. She would be very competitive if she ran.
I mean, I agree with that. She's very likable. You know what I mean? Really don't have a stain on her. You know what I mean? She don't really come from politics like that, like Hillary did. So, I can see a lot of people going towards Michelle. She's still young somewhat, you know what I mean? So I definitely can see that for sure.
And I would also say that the president, the office of president, is the only level of politics where she is not essentially guaranteed. If she ran for senator, Congress, or mayor, it's guaranteed. Okay, I don't know what happened. He had an echo, but you dropped out, Top Dog. Appreciate you coming on. But yeah, Michelle Obama, the only role, in my humble opinion, that she would even be challenged is running for president. If she ran, because she lives in liberal areas, Chicago, Hawaii. I mean, if she ran as Congress, senator, any of the other, she's guaranteed. Mayor, you name it. Any other governor, she would be guaranteed to get the position. So it's really the only position she would face any decent challenge as president. Adam Fergoso, we need an additional $11,000 to have the standard of living we had under Trump. Bidenomics doesn't work. I'm not going to defend Biden's economy. I think at this point, we can say that Biden is not responsible, it's price gouge, and he doesn't control fuel prices or whatever defense you want to use. But at this point, I think most Americans would agree that they are not doing as well financially as they were under Trump. I'm talking about the economy, because a lot of people have gotten better jobs, and everybody's not suffering under Biden like Trump supporters will say. But the overall numbers do suggest that most Americans favor Trump in handling the economy over President Biden. However, I will say this, though. Everybody's not voting based on the economy. I've heard of the phrase, it's the economy stupid. But the LGBT community, or a lot of these women are voting because of the rolling back of Roe v. Wade. Everybody's not voting based on the economy. And I will tell you this, I've said this on a number of programs. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 85,000. I do appreciate you folks rolling with your boy this historic day. Certainly show the program some love. Tap the screen, get the likes up to 85 on YouTube. We can certainly make it happen to about 170, if you will. YouTube, thank you for the participation, by the way, YouTube. You guys have certainly been showing the program some love, so thank you. But yeah, I definitely believe everybody is not voting for the same issue in regards to the idea that it's the economy stupid. And I've said this before. In my opinion, if you're voting for the economy or some, inflation, my humble opinion, you're playing checkers. You're not playing chess. Why do I say that? I've brought this up several times. Clarence Thomas is 75 and Justice Alito are 74. 75 years old, 74 years old, and they both are very favorable to Trump. There's no denying that. Those two justices are pretty old, and they're very favorable to Trump. If Trump wins in November, it would be very, very likely that he could convince them both to step down for the good of the Republican Party and its future, and allow him to appoint somebody that's a few decades younger. We know Clarence Thomas loves gifts, so it would be pretty easy to get Clarence Thomas to step down, and I think Alito would follow. You don't have to deal with this drama. We're going to make sure you ride off into the sunset exceptionally happy. And because you're allowing me to appoint somebody that's 45, 50 years of age, you're securing America right of center for another 20, 30 years. You're talking about Biden's inflation, what you're paying at the gas pump under Biden compared to Trump. Biden's gas prices, the inflation rate and Bidenomics and all the stuff we're complaining about now won't mean shit 10, 15 years from now. We won't be talking about Biden's gas prices in 10 to 15 years. You'll certainly be still dealing with those Supreme Court picks. They will still be around. So when I say you're playing chess versus checkers or checkers versus chess, that's what I'm talking about. Those Supreme Court picks could be around for the rest of your damn life. As I stated, 10 years from now, you won't be talking about Biden's gas prices versus Trump. That's a short-term goal. Maybe you get Trump back in and gas goes down 50 cents, 75 cents a gallon, and the next guy maybe it goes up. That's what happens. Economies are like roller coasters. But those Supreme Court justices are going to be like a straight line for a dead patient. They stay there. They don't go away. So voting for the economy, you could be throwing away a lot or you could be gaining a lot depending on what side of the aisle you're on. But I do believe it is. And by the way, in addition to Clarence Thomas being 75 and Alito being 74, Sotomayor and Roberts are 69. Now, that's not to say they may not be around until they're 75 or whatever, but keep in mind, every American don't make 80 years of age. If you live to be 73 years of age or something like that and you pass away, that really is kind of a full life. So even Sotomayor and Roberts could potentially end up being replaced during Trump's term. Fact is, there is a possibility that if Trump gets reelected in November, he could be the first president in U.S. history to have appointed as many as 7 Supreme Court justices. He has 3 already. He is almost guaranteed to get 2 more with Alito and Clarence Thomas. Sotomayor and Roberts, maybe, maybe not. But he'll get at least 5 if he gets reelected. $2 gas, huh? You're going to be talking about $2 gas in 2034, 2044? Those picks will still be there. Anyhow, going back to the box, somebody says further corrupt the nation. Yikes. Biden will probably nominate the first trans woman justice. Democrats, says Draco. Yeah, that could happen. That absolutely could happen. That Biden might nominate a transgender in the Supreme Court. I mean, that's how tribal we've went. Because I do believe that if Trump gets reelected, he's probably going to outlaw, at least from a standpoint of government, he's going to outlaw the transgender community. So one side is going to promote it, the other side is going to eradicate it. Because Trump has already stated that if he is reelected, he's going to tell Congress that they must go by the gender you were at birth for the rest of your life. So if your driver's license always has to say male, regardless if you have a surgery or anything, you always have to go by the gender that you were born as. That's essentially the government eradicating your ability to transition at all. So you're talking about Trump, or better yet, Biden may appoint a Supreme Court justice as transgender. Trump has made it clear he's going to get rid of that community altogether in the eyes of government. Looking in the comments, the president signs bills, but he doesn't really run the country. It's Congress and the Walmarts and Rockefellers that run America. President is not sitting there as a figurehead and totally meaningless. I get your point. Everything, he doesn't do everything, but he sure means a lot. He sure means a lot. Going back to the box, we'll keep it going with Billy Clint. Good afternoon, Billy. As Phil Collins would say, don't you lose my number. If the box brings him up, let me see. Tired of getting crazy shit stuffed down. What is it? Tired of getting crazy shit stuffed down our throats. No, you're not. And by the way, the box is, we'll get a box a chance to reset, but that came from, I can't even, the name is so damn long, does something. But in regards to saying you're tired of getting crazy shit stuffed down your throat, no, you're not. You're tired of getting things shoved down your throat that you disagree with. Right now, the right has no problem, at least in the state of Louisiana, shoving religion down the kids' throats, shoving Christianity down the throats of children. In that state right now, they're doing that. So the idea that the right is tired of people shoving shit, no, you're tired of them shoving things down your throat you disagree with. The things you do agree with, you don't give a damn if they shove that down the throats of kids that disagree with it. That's hypocrisy. That's hypocrisy. Being against LGBT, DEI, CRT in schools, but you're okay with the 10 Commandments, you're okay with indoctrination. You just don't like left-wing indoctrination. Looking in the comments, the president does not control the economy. That's Congress, the Fed, and the courts. We could go a lot of directions with that. The president absolutely does have some strings that they can pull with the economy. They're not just sitting there clueless. Ryan Sharkley, thank you for the super chat. The very nice super chat says, we have a convicted felon running against a man whose health is getting worse at a rapid rate. RFK Jr. should be a part of the debate. If those two can't bend the rules, why not allow this exception? I think that RFK Jr.'s problem is he's not speaking what most Americans want to hear. I mean, he's running as a Democrat, and most Democrats don't like him. Most Democrats are not like madly in love with Biden, but RFK, the COVID stuff, things he's talking about, is not what's on the minds of the Democratic Party. I do believe even if RFK could appear at the debate, he probably still would not beat Biden. I think he may hurt Biden, making it more beneficial to Trump. But I think if those two had to run a primary, I think if they had to put RFK on the primary, he would have lost to Biden. I mean, first of all, there's just way more money under Biden than there is RFK. So I don't think he would have won. But I do understand your point. And that could be said, the same thing could be said about Trump not showing up to the debates that the Republican Party had, the Nikki Haley's and Ron DeSantis and all of them. I personally believe if you're running for office, you should have to debate. I don't believe it should be optional, but Trump has kind of bent the rules on that. In fact, Trump has bent the rules on a lot of stuff that we will have to deal with in the future, such as a presidential contender not showing his taxes, or we're talking about the court cases he's dealing with. We can bend January 6th in all sorts of directions. I mean, he's really pushed the envelope in a lot of different directions. I don't know what we're dealing with in the future, but some of that stuff will have to be addressed. Can a president commit a crime while they're in office? Not saying he did, not saying he did not, but he has opened the door for us to address issues like, can a president run the country while they're incarcerated? Can a president commit a crime while they're in office and then pardon themselves for the crime they committed while they're in office? These are questions, whether you think he's innocent or guilty, these are questions that's been coming up. Can you run the country while you're in jail? Can you run the country while you're a felon? I think we've answered that one now. Can you run the country? Let's say you got a major charge on you, whether it's treason or murder or you've done something really bad, but it hasn't went to court yet. Can you become president while that is still pending? Nobody ever thought we'd have to answer any of these questions. So it doesn't matter if you believe Trump is innocent or guilty. He has opened up a Pandora's box on things that need to be addressed in the future from a commander-in-chief. He's taking us in directions nobody ever thought we would go. Looking in the comments, force people to do things they don't have to. I don't get that one. The New York judge is getting disbarred along with Bragg. And that's what I was talking about earlier. I'll go back to the box, but when I mentioned what could cause a civil war and stuff like that, Trump gets in office now, all of the judges that ruled against him, he's trying to have them disbarred or arrested or things. That's where you could have a problem, is if Trump gets in office and goes on a mission of revenge. Dr. Phil and Sean Hannity tried to get him to make it clear that he wouldn't do that, and he didn't pass the test. Both of them sound like they, well, we know Sean Hannity favors Trump, but I think Dr. Phil does too. But both of them tried to work with Trump after he had made some controversial statements, tried to give him a room to get out of it, and he wouldn't even take the opening. So is there a chance he may be a vengeful president? I mean, based on his answers, I don't feel confident saying that there's guaranteed he won't do it at all. He wouldn't even take the opening. Going back to the box, though, continuing on with the program, we will go to C3BO. Good afternoon. Dr. Phil is MAGA, says Victor. So I don't know. You think Dr. Phil's MAGA, huh? I'd like to talk to Oprah Winfrey about that. I don't know if Phil is MAGA, but he definitely sounds like he leans more towards Trump than Biden. 90% of the UK are backing Trump, says Jim Dillon. Okay, I don't know if that has any relevance to it, but and I don't believe that 90% of the UK is backing Trump. The UK favors helping the Ukraine. So the idea that 90% of the, I don't know if I believe that. And somebody said, who cares? The box is still problematic. I brought up another guest. I don't think Trump will take revenge. He didn't lock Hillary Clinton up. There are suggestions that Trump fired, I can't think of the guy's name, was it Spicer? One of his people, because they wouldn't go after Hillary Clinton at his orders. You guys can let me know in the comments who that individual was, but he was going to go after Hillary Clinton and was prevented from doing so by one of his own administrative members. So, and that ain't totally true. Jeff Sessions. So there you go. So the idea that he won't go on a revenge tour. Trump holds grudges. Trump is real personal. He's not the kind of politician that spars with you and win or lose, shake hands after it's over with. That's not him. The grudge is permanent. So I don't know I don't think that's true what you just said. Oprah brought Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil to her show. Both of these doctors have lost their luster. Well, they are very wealthy people at this point. Continuing on, though, Flight 454. Yeah, Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil, you are correct. Brought both of them out. And they both are certainly on the other side of the aisle. Flight 454, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to have you back on. So you're going to be tuned in to the debate tonight?
I'm going to try to.
What are you expecting to see? I'm going to give you a blank slate. What are you expecting to see tonight?
I think Biden's going to do fine. He's got 2 commercial breaks that he can go pump up or whatever he needs to do while he's waiting on them commercial breaks.
What's your definition of pump up? What does that mean? Explain the word pump up.
Or pump something in? I don't know. Get a little rest. Be able to take a nap.
So you do believe that Biden may potentially be on narcotics?
I don't know. It seems kind of funny. We've never had any commercial breaks for any other presidential debate ever, and that he gets 2 of them.
Is that true? I don't think that's true. We've never had a debate that had commercial breaks. So. I don't believe that's true.
I've never seen one with a commercial break.
Now you got me wondering. I have to look that one up. I don't believe that, but you might be right. I'll have to look it up. No commercial breaks.
I'm pretty sure. I don't remember seeing any.
That's hard to. That's hard to. Because at the end of the day, anybody, regardless of how old they are, could have to use the bathroom. I mean, because what is it, 90 minutes or an hour? Anybody could have to use the bathroom. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Well, they got to be able to stand and do whatever they got to do when things are going on. So
no, you can't.
You got to have some kind of stamina.
You could be on the battlefield getting shot at. If you got to take a shit, you can't. Your body's not going to hold that off. I mean, at the end of the day, why would you not have a commercial break for 90 minutes straight? That doesn't make sense to me.
The closest thing I ever remember have anything to do with a commercial would be when they would say, this debate is brought to you by this and this station.
Right.
And then they would go back to asking questions.
Yeah. That's I mean, considering that most debates are actually available on YouTube and other sources, that actually should be pretty easy to fact check. You're certainly going to have me looking that up. I want to see that, because Hillary Clinton they can go all the way back to, I was watching clips of Ford debating Carter earlier today. So it should be easy to find out if they're commercial breaks. That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know.
So you believe?
I'm pretty sure, though.
So you believe that the commercial breaks are deliberately put in there because of Biden?
Yeah, he's the one that said that he wanted the commercial breaks. He set up this whole thing.
Yeah.
No audience. Everything is put up in his favor, even though the news has been trying to turn it around and saying, well, Trump's going to win because they made it in his favor. Well, how did they make it? Why would they make it in his favor if they're having it on CNN?
Well, I understand that CNN is not favorable to Trump, but I think when it comes to making it in Biden's favor, some of that stuff is because of Trump's antics, like turning off the microphones. There are clearly debates we can look up and show where Trump did need to have his mic turned off.
Right. I can see where you're coming from on that, but the news person I was listening to today actually said that plays in Trump's favor because then Trump won't be they'll be stopping him from making one-liners to help him.
Well, it could work. It could. I actually agree.
He won't be shown as being...
Say that again?
What the guy was saying today was that he thought that it was in Trump's favor having the mics turned off because he wouldn't... it would curve his mouth and show him as being more calm than what he is.
I think that's wishful thinking. It might happen that way, but Trump has shown he don't have a lot of self-restraint. I don't know. You're hoping that, and he could be right, but I don't know if it's going to go down like that.
But this was I can't even remember who it was that said it, but he's always against Trump and saying he thought.
Flight, I gotta drop you. Your signal's going in and out, Flight. Flight, if you can hear me, your signal was going in and out. You're certainly welcome back on the program anytime, but you were becoming illegible. One thing I will say though, that could actually help Trump out with the times, because they're going to give him a lot of time to speak, and then after that, the mic goes off. Because Biden does have a speech impediment or he stutters, it could take him longer to get out his thoughts. And if the clock is set at a pre-designated time where it turns your ass off, you don't have 5 seconds to spend stuttering. So I'm hoping that neither one of these folks come out there and sound like a bumbling buffoon. Thank you for the shades, Charles. Appreciate that. Thank you for those sunglasses. But that part could help Trump out if Biden, has to stutter or things like that. But Biden has had like a week and a half, I think, or 2 weeks of debate prep, as opposed to Trump going out there trying to improv. I mean, I don't know if Trump is the Allen Iverson of debates, but I mean, we talking about practice. I personally believe Trump should have had debate prep. I personally believe, listen, if you like Trump, you're going to go with whatever the hell he says. I get it. But not doing debate prep, there's no way in hell I believe that's going to work for Trump. I mean, in my opinion, they should have had folks ask him trigger point questions. Things that we know are going to piss him off. And then they could have told him, look, I know how you feel, sir, but for the sake of this debate, not having debate prep makes no sense to me. I don't think any other president has tried it, to just go out there and wing it. And by the way, thank you for that hat and stash, Gregory. Appreciate that. Denkow with the money gun. Shout out to you. I don't believe going out there and debating without debate prep is a good idea. Now, I know he had debate prep with the likes of Rudolph Giuliani, Kellyanne Conway, Chris Christie. And then he went out there, that debate where he was talking all over Biden, the one that has inspired the mic shut off, they prepped him for that debate. And Chris Christie stated the minute he started doing this, we're sitting there shaking our heads like, we told you not to do this. So maybe he didn't have debate prep because he's not likely to listen to the preppers anyway. Anyhow, going back to the box, we'll continue on. I don't know what I just did there, but we will continue on the program. Robert Kennedy, really? Okay. Let's go to so. Oh, Betty, what did I click on? Oh, Denkow, one of my subscribers. Good afternoon, Denkow. It would be a waste of time. Trump is not going to listen to anyone. And that's not going to work in his favor. Denkow, good afternoon.
What's up? What's up?
Not much at all. Good to see you back on, man. So what do you think? What are you expecting to see tonight?
I want to get to that, but I just you have got the most patience, man, to be able to sit there and listen to somebody tell you that they don't have commercials during debate, and how the nerd is telling you gonna look it up. Stop it, man.
I mean, because I can actually recall seeing Marco Rubio reach over and talk to, I don't know if it was Ryan or one. I remember seeing them cut to commercial breaks and remember seeing people at the podium turn and say things. I'm like, I remember commercial breaks. That's why it just didn't sound right.
Networks are never going to let that opportunity pass and not let people buy a time during anything that's big. So that's just crazy.
That's a good point too. That's a good point.
And then having them go up there talking about they keep going back and forth with this. Well, he's probably on something, and he's not really on something. We don't think that, but he could be on something, but we don't really think. Dude.
Well, you know what I think it is? I think it's a matter of covering all bases. So no matter how the debate turns out, they can say, in other words, they're saying Biden may be on drugs, and that may make him sound normal. They're saying he's a bumbling buffoon. They're saying that CNN may not treat him right. Then they're saying Biden might actually be a worthy adversary. I mean, so no matter what happens, you get the ability to say, I told you so. I predicted it. Because you're predicting every single outcome that could possibly happen.
Exactly. And none of the things they're talking about, nothing is centered around he's not going to have policy points to discuss. Nothing is about, either one of them is about what they're going to say. It's going to be how they look and how they sound. Not about the substance of what they're going to be saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so let me ask you the question when I asked one of my other callers. Because I know you're leaning towards Biden, Craig. You're not going to vote for Trump. You sound like you're leaning towards Biden.
Definitely.
Okay. Do you feel confident Biden can give you a dedicated 4 years?
Like you said earlier, look.
The fact that you didn't just say yes is shocking. Keep going.
Well, I mean, one of your other people on there who said it perfectly. He said, look, if anybody can have a heart attack and drop dead. Like you just saying.
Yeah, but you know that's not what I'm asking, then, Cal. You know that's not what I'm asking. I mean, Obama could have had a heart attack and dropped dead, but you feel confident he'd make the 4 years.
Also, what happened with Reagan in his last year or so? They said his wife was running the White House.
Cal, you know what I'm talking about. I get anybody can step out in the street and get hit by a bus. I understand it. But you know what I mean when I ask, do you feel confident if Biden can make it?
Yes, I believe he can make it to 86.
Okay. And it could be governing, it could be governing this country reliably up to 86.
I think it would probably have to be more of his team, but yes, just the way every president has a team that helps them make decisions and give them options, and so yeah, I believe he can make it.
I see somebody.
It's not optimal, but
yeah, I see somebody on YouTube, Meatball Popsicle, what a hell of a name is that? Says, "Half you maggots won't make it to 56." God, you guys are awful. Go ahead, man.
If it's really about what I want to see if he makes it for 4 years, or what I believe would happen with Trump in 4 years, I'm willing to take that chance.
Yeah.
That Biden will make it 4 years, than rather somebody who has come out and admitted to what they're going to try to accomplish, and they. Regardless of what happens in the Senate and the House, he in his 4 years he would never have a filibuster-proof majority. So the stuff he's talking about, he couldn't get done. I mean, him talking about the whole immunity thing. Like I can't understand how people don't understand that he's advocating for the police and himself to have unfettered immunity. That's got to be the craziest thing somebody, a presidential candidate, has said, and people are okay with it. He's saying, I thought the Republicans or the conservatives were for small government. Government, stay out of my, stay away from me. Let me do me. And now they're advocating for a man to have unfettered access to do whatever he wants, and the police to go around. So that means those police are going to be able to do whatever they want to conservatives too. I don't know why they think the police is going to be only doing stuff to liberal people.
Yeah, and I gotta, you're right. Yeah, you're okay with it until it starts happening to you. And I gotta agree with you, like what Lisa said in the comments as well. It should scare you. The fact that any leader is, looking for potential immunity for themselves or for police, that is concerning. Now, maybe Trump won't be able to give the police immunity, but he is talking about it. And just talking about it alone is concerning. I don't know why anybody would favor giving police immunity from prosecution under the guise, and this is what Trump said, because it'll give them their power and respect back. I mean, that's respect is almost like in prison or somewhere like that. You respect people because they'll beat your ass. I mean, in other words, you're using power and violence to acquire respect. I don't see how anybody should just let that roll off of them.
Right, and I would ask the MAGA people or the conservatives or the Trump supporters, how would they feel if Biden came out and said the same thing? If he offered,
they'd be all over it. They'd be all over it. But here's the difference, though. Not only would the Republicans be all over Biden if he talked about giving police immunity, the liberals would be all over him too, particularly the minority communities. They'd be all like, "What the hell you mean giving them immunity?"
Exactly.
Because some folks are saying, "Well, they got to, they need some type of immunity." They already have it. What are you looking at police right now and saying they need to be able to do this without prosecution? What more powers is he talking about they should acquire? That actually should come up at the debate. It probably won't, but they should make him clarify that.
Yeah, because I mean, the police already have a certain amount of immunity to civil infractions. Yeah. If you sue a police officer, you can't get money directly from him or his family. It has to come from the police department.
Yeah. Now, speaking of police immunity, this is an interesting. I'll let you take it any way you want, but this is crazy. Chris Adams on YouTube says, didn't the Democrats give immunity to the Capitol Police that killed a woman on January 6th? Talking about the death of Ashley Babbitt. Didn't the Democrats give immunity to the African-American Capitol Police officer that killed Ashley Babbitt? How do you respond to that?
No, they didn't give him immunity. They had a committee who reviewed everything, the public policy that he fell under, and they adjudicated that he did not do anything wrong. Yeah, he fulfilled his duty. So I don't know what they're talking about. Obviously, they didn't watch because the hearings are public knowledge. You can go find out exactly what they said, exactly what his point of view was. And there was people on the other side saying that he should have been punished. But if you look at rules of engagement and everything, he followed his stuff to the T. If anything, more police should have did the same thing that he did.
Wow. Yeah, to me it's insane. I've hosted shows on it. Folks say she's little, she's unarmed. When you look at what happened, the officer that shot her, they're behind a barricade. They have furniture turned upside down against the barricade. So they clearly don't want people to come through. They're cowering for their lives. And you watch the protesters bang through all the windows, smash them out. They clearly intend to climb over the furniture, over the barricade. You hear one of the protesters yell, "He has a gun." My argument always is this. I don't care if it's a police officer, somebody wearing a badge, or a damn bank robber. If somebody has a firearm aimed at you and they're yelling instructions and you don't listen to those instructions, there's a high probability of getting shot. It is as simple as that. Don't have to be a cop. Don't have to be a robber, whoever. If somebody's aiming a gun at you and they're yelling instructions at you and you decide, I'm going to do what I want anyway, the chances are really good of you getting shot. And she wasn't listening.
and he's listening over the radio to people all over the Capitol saying that they've been overrun, and they're trying to whisk these Congress people to safe houses and stuff. Yes, he did exactly what his training told him to do.
If you actually hold that cop accountable for what happened to Ashley Babbitt, I mean, you pretty much just authorized B&E all over the damn place, because they clearly are breaking and entering. I mean, there's no other way around it. You can't just smash every damn thing out, bust through locked doors, and climb your way in. If you authorize that is legal and the cops can't take action against that, I mean, shit, that would be a field day for any felon that's out there hitting licks. I'll give you the last word, though.
Yeah, like I said, he did everything he was supposed to. The thing was, the rest of the police did not. They did not. They went through all of the levels of progression, but they did not get to lethal, to lethal protecting themselves.
Right.
They got beat, they got tased, they got bear spray, they got everything. And at the end, what did they do? They just gave up and started letting people in, which I understand because they got overran. But if they would have did what that police officer did and at those other doors and windows, it would have been a lot less people would have got into that place.
Sounds like you're quoting an old tweet from Trump that stated, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. I got to move it on, though, Dencal. Appreciate you coming on.
All right.
All right. Looking in the comments, though, comply isn't that what they said. Yeah, I mean, they certainly, she was not compliant. That crowd was not compliant. I don't know what folks expect. Okay, if he didn't shoot her, just let her climb through the barricade with everybody else and stand down. I mean, I don't know what else was expected. There's plenty of video when she lost her life. There's plenty of video showing the last few minutes of her life, and it's like, what was the people supposed to do? Just stand down and let them, basically have a free-for-all, climb through locked doors and go wherever they wanted? Biden pulled us out of a worldwide economic crisis and post-pandemic inflation, and did it more successfully than any other country in the world, says Ronnie Lighton. Wow, you should be part of the damn administration. And that was, I mean, the grammar, everything's there. Wow. There's literally video of people breaking windows and climbing up the walls like zombies. When will you people stop being disillusional? There are videos of cops being let in. I mean, people being let in as well. I think Tucker Carlson showed it. But at the end of the day, there's no denying that there were crimes being committed there that day. We talk about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee and it being disrespectful to the flag, or liberals burning the flag. They took the flag down and put up a Trump flag. And I don't even think Trump called that disrespectful. So, I mean, there were certainly people there that were committing some pretty damn heinous crimes. Trump calls it a good day. So we'll see what happens. This guy needs to go back to smoking cows. Shit. I'd like to smoke a damn cow. That's smoked beef you talking about. Make a whole bunch of steaks out of that. I don't see no problem with smoking a cow. They were let in at doors instead of letting them break them down. And that's true too. I mean, there's another African-American cop that is on video running up the stairs with his, those little asp, what do they call them? Asp or whatever. They're like, police billy clubs. In fact, I'm reaching behind me because I actually have one in the car. It's called an asp, where you fling it out. I don't want to fling it out and break my windows, but he could have used lethal force. They were chasing him up the steps. And he had his asp out, his ASP, asp. I don't want to sound like I'm saying ass, but he's another one that could have probably drew down on them. And he ran up the steps. But was it a baton or was it an asp? I see some folks said a baton. Whatever the case may be, he clearly had it out. And they were chasing him up the steps, and I think he testified that they called him the N-word and everything. They didn't mean him any good. He probably could have drawn down as well. I see your comment, Nathan Lee. You support Trump. Nothing wrong with that, but you don't have to type it over and over and over again. Otherwise, I don't believe in censoring or blocking anybody, but you're hurting the program for other MAGA that may want to type. So Cool it. Anyhow, I do appreciate the 95,000 likes. We could have almost made 100. Some of you folks got lazy thumbs. Thank you for the support on YouTube as well. We're probably going to be on here after the debate. So for some of you night owls, want to hear your opinion certainly about how Biden looked. That is certainly the biggest concern, because Trump has made it sound like Biden's going to come on stage, take 2 steps, and fall the fuck down. So we're going to certainly be talking about it from that aspect. And obviously, these gentlemen are going to be asked questions to the point we're going to be debating, were their lies told? Did somebody fib? We can fact check some of this stuff ourselves. There will be programs. I mentioned David Muir on ABC. They will have an after program. CNN has already stated, and Sean Hannity will certainly have one as well. So my guess is MSNBC and some of the other networks, News Nation, Chris Cuomo, I think he has Bill O'Reilly on tonight. I'll tune into that a little bit. I'm a big fan of News Nation as well. So most of the news networks will have programs on after. I'd invite you, as I always do, to have a piece of not just your grandma's pie, but the pie from the woman across the street. In other words, don't just tune into the network you like. Hear the discussion from other networks. Maybe your candidate of choice actually is doing something wrong that your network that favors your candidate is not going to tell you about. It's a good idea to get a little bit of a expanded media portfolio. So I'd invite you folks to do that. Nevertheless, appreciate the 100K. Thank you for that. And I see in the comments, Tony brought that up. Thank you. Appreciate that. Nevertheless, I love this channel. 2 sides to it all. Meatball Popsicle. Your other comment, appreciate the input. That name is crazy. Meat and ice cream, Meatball Popsicle. I'm old enough to remember the bomb pops. You know, you had a piece of, what was it? A piece of paper with a stick coming out of it. Was that called a bomb pop, or was it the red, white, and blue? I'm going way back. You get them from ice cream trucks. You guys ain't old enough for all that shit. Anyway, this will be a total different debate. No audience, mute button, and only held to 2 minutes. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's because I don't think any candidate throughout debates in the throughout the years have been able to time their responses within this perfect window. I think Biden looked really bad. He had one debate once where he was talking and then he just stopped and said, "Oh, my time is out." And it looked like he wasn't even culpable enough to answer the question. Most debates, the person explaining their answer gets passionate or maybe informative enough that they do go a few seconds over. The reason you're having it this time, though, is because of President Trump. If they gave you a minute to answer the question and you take a minute and 5, minute and 10 seconds, you hear the bell at a minute, but they generally did not have a problem with you going over 5 or 6 seconds to make your point and complete it. What Trump was doing is just interrupting the other guy. Okay, you had your minute. Maybe you took a minute and 8 or whatever. You got your statement across. Now, when the other guy rebuts, he starts talking over him too. So now the other guy is not getting his point out, but rather having a back and forth with Trump. That's how you got this. If you watch, for you folks who may watch, let's say the 5 on Fox News, Jesse Waters does that a lot. They generally have 4 conservatives and 1 liberal. The minute the liberal tries to make, Jesse Waters does that. So that's kind of what they're trying to eliminate, is having somebody just refuse to let anybody. I think Joy Behar on The View does something similar, just talks over people. So it's only fair to let people get their point out. If Biden is talking out of the side of his damn head and makes no damn sense, let him speak so we can judge that, as opposed to just talking over him. And the same applies to President Trump. Nevertheless, I do appreciate you folks tuning in, as always, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central. 1300 hours is when you find us, but also tonight we're going to likely follow up. And real quick, Draco said, please explain the purpose of no audience. Well, if they're cheering or booing, they can also take away from the debate. Let's say Biden gets up there and the audience starts chanting Crooked Joe. Trump's going to feed off of that. MAGA's going to applaud that, but that doesn't do anything for us at home. I mean, I favor an audience, but I want the audience to be respectable. I don't want the audience to start chanting and laughing and, because certainly Biden's cognitive abilities are at play here. So if Biden was to get on stage and start stuttering or something like that, or he comes out and he trips or something, that audience is going to respond to that. The MAGA part of that audience is really going to respond to that. And it could be distracting. That's my humble opinion. Nevertheless, these were rules posed by Biden. Trump agreed to them. He didn't have to agree. So coming back tomorrow and complaining about rules you agreed to, remember, I'm the one who favors forgiving student loans and is told all the damn time, well, you agreed to that shit, which is true. I'm responsible. But if you agree to something, you're responsible, right? Well, Trump agreed to the rules of the debate. Catch you guys tomorrow. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I gotta go. Appreciate you folks on YouTube as well. CNN, MSNBC. CNN and MSNBC have no liberals. Yeah, that's comical. See you guys later. Catch out.